Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Good to be with you. Happy Ballsmic Wednesday. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything, but if you do, go back, get caught up at your leisure. All 3 hours to be posted upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can always email us, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Hello, YouTubers. How are you, Periscopers? Good to be with you. Don't forget, get signed up right now for the bowling tournament. If you're thinking about it, get your team of 4 registered and ready to roll, baby. ESPNTallahassee.com. We're doing it for the kids, collecting gift cards as well as actual toys for those that would maybe go without this holiday season, and nobody should do that, right? And it's been a long-standing tradition here that we've been able to host this tournament and have a great time with it. It's quite frankly one of the great things about having a job like this is to have the medium to reach out and get people who are inclined to give and care, because I think most people are deep down, to a cause to help out with, because you guys have always done so and gone over the top, if there's any such thing. You've really not only added and enriched the lives of those kids, but created a wonderful tradition. So thank you in advance. Get signed up now, ESPNTallahassee.com. You'll see the Guardian Ad Litem logo there. You'll see the page that you need to click on to get your team of 4 in, and all that's required of you is you bring in 2 unwrapped. We don't want the actual Christmas wrapping. You just go ahead and bring the toys in their case wherever you bought them, or gift cards work as well. We're going to feed you. The tournament's December the 20th. It's at 7:00, and there might be a few cold ones tossed back, a few extra games played after it's over. That's how we roll, especially on a Friday right around the holidays. Man, how good is that going to be? I can't wait.
I can't wait. I do need to get some pre-bowling tournament bowling in.
Yeah. I'll go bowling with you, buddy. The limitations on games are rapidly approaching. I mean, there's a dearth, for example, tonight. We got nothing. Damn it. Brutal. I don't like it. I'm like a crackhead.
That was a deeper voice Jimbo damn it right there.
Oh, was it?
It was your voice, but it was the same
damn it
cadence. Yeah.
That high? Yeah. So I occasionally hear Jimbo's cadence come out of me when I'm actually yelling. Like if I say GD or something at the house, I can hear it. I'm like,
now, why would you say that?
I got a 12-year-old. It's
all the more reason. Why would you say such a thing? Come on now.
My goodness gracious. It's a toughie.
Get it together.
All's well. So, I'd like it to be over with. You'd like it to be over with. It's not over with. It's not going to be over with this week. I don't think. The coaching search, that is. The stuff that consumes so many of us currently who would like to know the direction of a program that's been rudderless, aimless, and certainly devoid of pleasure. Not a program that has allowed for any of us to smile once in the last 3 years.
Yeah, you just took a smile off of my face because you reminded me I had to go back out to Twitter and see if anything's happened. That's great. Got to keep that up, the old wire reports, right?
I continue to believe that it's likely Mike Norvell, the Memphis coach, 38 years old. He is young. His salary is such that it would be a huge step up for him, and it's a small buyout, and he has been very successful since 2015 as the head coach at Memphis. And if you can win there and win consistently, that's doing some things. Now, at the same time, I get it. That would not be the quote-unquote splash hire that would cause a run on checks being written throughout the state of Florida by Florida State alumni and boosters to the university. I get it. They wouldn't. They'd go, really? So you sent out the Renaissance email and requests for money from all of us so that we could hire Mike Norvell from Memphis. Doesn't mean it wouldn't be a good hire. Doesn't mean it would be. I think this is about getting your mind around expectations. Now, whatever criticisms are going to be lobbed at the university, that's going to happen. And I think that almost without fail here, you're going to make some people very unhappy. There may be a very good and legitimate reason that people could be very upset with the university. I'm not saying there won't be. Short of a splash hire, people are going to be angry. And I think that's because there was a mistake. Now, yesterday, Tom, you and I had an exchange where I said, listen, I don't think that they're screwing this up just because days are going past and it makes us uncomfortable every day that does when we don't name a head coach. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily screwing anything up. They're doing their due diligence. They may be talking to coaches who are still coaching, say a conference championship game like Mike Norvell, whatever it might be, right? It may be that they want to have their ducks in a row because once this thing gets moving, it's going to get moving, and that coach doesn't want anything to leak out in the interim in case it doesn't go the way they want it to in the negotiation, and now he's alienated himself from his existing job. I get all the working pieces and all that, okay? But I did concede, and I was able to do some follow-up on this. I certainly would concede to you that the mistake that people would point to was a legitimate mistake, and that was, again, this idea of the Renaissance letter, right? The hey, guys, we need you to give big money here. We're on the cusp of something big. It was an expectation setter.
Right, because when you think Renaissance Man, you think Da Vinci or DeVito's performance as Bill Rago, right? In Renaissance Man, the movie.
Yeah.
Or Mike Norvell. I mean, those are the three people I think of when I hear the term Renaissance Man.
I go DeVito, Norvell, Da Vinci.
Right.
Da Vinci.
That's your top three.
That guy.
But it's an undisputed top three, right?
Right. So, that would have been a mistake. And one would say, well, why would they do that? Because I think they thought they had Bob Stoops and they didn't have Bob Stoops. So I'll concede they screwed that up. They didn't screw up the negotiation, and there was nothing wrong with talking to Bob Stoops. They should talk to Bob Stoops if you can. If you can get him, that's a slam dunk. It's that I think they believed that was going to happen, and they got a little bit too ahead of themselves there, and they set this expectation super high because they thought they were going to be able to deliver on that. And now I don't think Bob Stoops is a candidate, folks. I don't. So let's say you remove him, okay? The only other guy, and there will be people who don't like this. There will be no universally beloved hire. Bob Stoops wouldn't be universally beloved. But to be sure, the only other splash hire they can make right now is James Franklin from Penn State.
Okay.
I like the idea of James Franklin because he's a really good recruiter and he has shown a willingness to cheat, allegedly, in order to win football games. We need a man who's willing to do whatever needs to be done to get this program, once proud program, back amongst the ranks of the elite.
Good luck getting the weekly interview now.
He may look at it as a compliment. He may say, I like the cut of your jib there, Jeff. I see you. I know you see me. We see each other. Oh, we do, Coach.
When you jib, I jab.
So I don't know. I don't know that that's going to happen. Don't know that it's not going to happen. But that's like the only other splash hire where people would, okay, I'm in, got it. That would cause a ripple or two. But I'm beginning to believe that certainly is not going to happen, and I am beginning to believe more and more each day that goes by that it's probably Mike Norvell. And that's not going to move the needle. I don't care about that as much as some people do. I get the anger. I get the frustration that people feel like, okay, wait a minute. We made this move. You felt like the situation was untenable. We had to move on from Coach Taggart and do something to salvage what's left here and move forward and cut it off at the pass. And you did that to get Mike Norvell? Okay. Yeah, that's going to be received lukewarm.
I'd be hesitant, though, to make that a definitive statement. Like, in terms of, well, you did it to get Mike Norvell. Well, I don't know who he is because I thought I knew who Willie was. So I'll wait and let this guy, build his program.
Well, that's where I'm at. I mean, he could be a disaster of a hire. It could be a great hire. We won't know for by the way, we really won't know. And that's the other part of this. We talk about setting expectations. The truth of the matter is here, man, you're not going to know whether this turns out to be a great hire or a bad hire for a long time. Because I don't know, as you begin the evaluation process with yet another stop-start underway and what will be a lost class, attrition, the likes of which we really probably haven't even spoke of yet or contemplated in the transfer portal. I don't know what's fair to judge him on that. Certainly nothing the first year. I mean, he's just trying to salvage whatever he can that first
Well,
year.
he better set expectations that way, though, and I think he will. I think the administration will say, listen, we almost need to put this in a clause in your contract that your press conference can't be about this being a retool.
No.
You got to be able to say. That was a
huge mistake that Willie made, and I think he realizes that. If he had to do it over again, he wouldn't have done that. But, yeah, that's fine. But what I'm saying is with Mike Norvell, he legitimately wouldn't have to be told that. I think he'll look at the situation and go, Jesus, okay, I got that offensive line. Going to be breaking in a new quarterback in all likelihood, and, okay, this is not going to be a great recruiting class.
I think it said one tribe on the banner that they put up and took back down in the Champions Club. It should say bear with us. It should just say bear with us, and then that should be
excuse our dust.
That's pardon our dust. That's the message for year one. That's on the poster. That's the motto. They got T-shirts, pardon our dust.
You know what hurts about that, man? It's just so tough to really get a complete buy-in and an enthusiastic fan base and sort of a tone setter. An energy. When Willie certainly created a great energy right off the bat. Didn't end up following through on it. Didn't work out. But there's no doubt with the way that the spring game sold out and the buy-in was complete, certainly amongst the fan base and the boosters. And then it didn't happen. But that energy sustained us because, obviously the results weren't there on the field. They hadn't been in some time. And so all you could do is like, okay, we're starting fresh. Good. All right. It's probably not going to be a great season, but we're starting anew here with somebody who wants to be here, who likes us, who cares about our traditions. And he's excited to be here, and we're excited to have him. All right, let's go. And then the Virginia Tech game happened, and then nothing good ever happened again. And or from that night on, nothing good happened. And nothing, well, actually prior to that night, nothing good
We
happened.
beat Adazio a couple of times. That's about it. But he's been fired.
Both were very close victories, nail-biters, in fact. That was all you got. That's what you hung your hat on. We got that one. Oh, and we nearly beat a terrible Miami team, but blew a 20-point lead.
Yeah, the first time.
Blew a 20-point lead. Yeah. So anyhow, that said, so as we sit here, you kind of, I don't like that. That's not good. Now, there will be no buzz, energy, buy-in, expectation of greatness. None. How can there be? You've got a major rebuild on your hand, and Mike Norvell is coming from Memphis. Maybe a great coach. May turn out to be a wise move indeed. We won't know for a long time, and it's going to be something that is very, very different. Now, obviously, short of the obvious and glaring mistakes like the ones we saw under Willie.
Right, yeah.
There will
you could know in 14, 15 games if they're
well, you could
terrible.
if they still can't get lined up.
Yeah. And you've got behind-the-scenes stuff that just is overwhelming evidence that this isn't going to get better. The thing was, to me, I think if you're Coburn and Thrasher, of course you're trying to swing for the fences, and this is where I'll defend him a little bit, because I think error number 2 was setting the timeline for the end of November. Here we are.
Yeah.
Now what's happening? Now you pissed off the fans for every day that goes by. We don't have an announcement. It was just
unnecessary. There was no reason to say that. There was none. This is where you see the inexperience of David Coburn at athletic director. He's a smart man, but this is not what he's done in his career. It's not who he is. He hasn't sat at those tables and been in those meetings. And while being a smart financial guy and understanding an awful lot of things about business and all those kinds of interactions, it doesn't necessarily mean you understand or aptly navigate the media and the things that you put out there as a message. We've seen several mistakes, albeit mostly minor, from him already. And so there was just no need to put that out there.
Yeah. Well, but it was, and so that counts for something when you're trying to evaluate whether or not they're doing a good job with the hire. They set the bar, and they haven't lived up to the bar that they set. They might, in terms of the quality of the coach, if somehow in the 11th hour we have a splash hire to announce. But the thing where I'll defend them is, of course, they're swinging for the fences, and they're trying to get immediate dollars back to the university right away for next year's season tickets, for the fund for the football-only facility, for the assistant coaches, the buyouts, you name it. They're trying to get all that money as soon as they can. But let's just say that Norvell is the hire. Well, if you kept Willie, your 2020 season ticket sales were going to tank anyway. But your 2021 ticket sales were probably going to tank beyond that because you've got another year of the same old, same old.
Right.
At least with Norvell, you've got a chance, whereas I think that in their estimation, they had zero chance of even 2021 revenue coming in with Willie staying on for another year.
Clearly, they saw the plane flying into the side of a mountain financially. It's just a disaster that they had to cut ties from. And there's just no easy way to do that. It's not a seamless transition. I mean, you may have needed to do it, but it was never going to be something where you go, okay, we're good here. Let's start anew. All right, everything's going to be all right. No, this was always going to be a problem. Problem for recruiting, a problem for the optics, a problem. I mean, just all kinds of issues you were going to have no matter what. And people, we know this. I sound like Jimbo preaching about society. But the modern world certainly is awfully convenient, in first world countries where you have everything at your fingertips, and I mean now, and that includes information and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard for people to have to wait. Nobody likes to hurry up and wait, and this feels an awful lot like, let's hurry up, and now let's wait. It's hurry up, name the guy. I want that stressor off my shoulders.
He's here in town. It's done. The contract is signed. Spike the football. Whatever you heard from various different places.
People want that. And then the thing of it is you got to really, really manage expectations because we're a mess, and we haven't even begun to see the damage done by the transfer portal and what's going to happen with this roster. How many of these kids decide to ride out? How many of these kids say, this is not what I signed up for?
This is my number one concern, dude.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen. So just here's the deal. In your mind, create a worst-case scenario for losses on the roster. Good players, average players, depth, whatever it might be. And probably figure on that happening. Because if you look at it through the eyes of, if we were viewing this from afar, it was another program, we would be talking about how in trouble that program was, given what this place has been for going on 4 years, 3.5 years. And the process we're watching play out now and all that, we would say, whoo, they're going to lose some people off that roster. That ain't going well down there. Some of these kids are going to leave.
Yeah, the NCAA, they got to give those kids a chance, right? Yeah. That's what we would say if it was USC. If it was
anybody other than us, we'd
Michigan.
Say it. Yeah. So I almost just chalk it up this season, this upcoming season, as a lost season. Now I am going to judge week to week. There are conclusions you can draw. I mean, you would do that with anybody. So there are some factors that you're going to look at and say, this isn't going so well. This is going all right. You're going to do that. But in terms of sweeping judgment, once you made the move to cut ties with Willie, you almost guaranteed that you weren't really going to be in a position at all to make another move like that anytime soon. First of all, the next coach and his agent are going to ask for some serious guarantees given what you just did to the last guy. Okay, so that was part of the collateral damage that's done when you fire a guy, just like Arkansas did. When you fire a guy that quickly, the next guy and his agent come in and say, oh, we know you'll fire a bitch. You will do so quickly. But my guy's going to be rich beyond reason if you do it now. So you're going to have to agree to those things. You're going to have to say, okay. And then you're going to recognize that there's no getting out from this for another 3-4 years.
Got to find different places to drive and maximize revenue, sir. Maybe you put the McDonald's sign back up on Doug.
Oh, no.
$1,000 Champions Club season tickets instead of the initial donation, and then here's your
chance.
$50.
$50, and you're in the Champions Club for the year.
You don't have to pay $1,500 for 2 seats just before you even spend on the. No, you could just spend on the season tickets. Here's your window.
Here you go, $50, and it's yours.
Build the foundation. Odell hugs at the 50-yard line. Those are still available.
I want to ask you this question. I was talking, all of us on the beat talk to each other these days. We're all kind of comparing notes, at least those of us that are friends, and most everybody is friendly on the beat, I think. And Bud and I were talking about what is a reasonable expectation for any new coach, whoever it is. And I'm not over the top. I'm not one of these guys that's like, oh, well, a new guy coming here will win 9 games. But I'm also not as fatalistic, I don't think, as he is and others are, in the sense that I think you can say, all right, look, we play in a bad league for starters. So let's just operating under that umbrella that you play a bunch of average to bad teams every year.
Yeah.
Now you don't even entertain the idea that you're going to be in the same neighborhood. You can't even look in the neighborhood that Clemson lives in. You're in a trailer park right now if you're Florida State. I got that. But so are a lot of other teams in this league.
Yeah, you're looking at 7 or 8 wins next year. Because your non-conferences, well, okay. Sorry.
Let's talk about it.
Right.
Let's just talk about it. I'm not so sure you're looking at 7 or 8 wins next year.
You think it's 5 or 6?
I think we're...
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, well, let's go through it. Let's go. Yeah,
he's going to lowball us.
Yeah, there you go. Swift kick. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet, the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home, and the most Wi-Fi hotspots nationwide. Only from Xfinity. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today to experience all Xfinity has to offer.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
Employee Pricing Plus, only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. We haven't offered employee pricing for over 10 years, and it's back. Get some incredible deals, like a new 2019 Ram 1500, up to $14,000 off MSRP, plus 0% for 60 months on the 2019 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. A huge savings only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Here's another, a new 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee, up to $4,000 off MSRP. A new 2019 Dodge Challenger SXT, up to $6,000 off MSRP. Buy one for only $26,999. During our Dodge Power Dollar sales event, Employee Pricing Plus, everyone qualifies. Going on right now, only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Visit us on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. Pricing on in-stock vehicles only, plus tax tag and dealer fee with approved credit. See dealer for details.
One of my favorite things about being a member at Orange Theory Fitness is the sense of community. Initially, after taking the tour and seeing the state-of-the-art equipment, I was intrigued. I became convinced even once I researched the science-backed, technology-tracked, coach-inspired workouts, all of that. But what I didn't count on was the support, the sense of camaraderie shown by the members and the coaches. You realize pretty quickly you're not alone. And when you're pushing yourself through barriers and attempting to be your personal best, you can use all the help you can get. And it's there. It's amongst the members and coaches at Orange Theory Fitness. To learn more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
This hour of the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Jerry's Cigar Shop, 2810 Shera Road and 2910 Cary Forest Parkway. Online at jerrycigarshop.com.
Looking for a bit of cowboy flavor? Introducing Hardee's Southwest Patty Melt, a hearty sandwich with all the taste of the great American Southwest. We're talking a hotter, juicier, thick burger made with 100% black Angus beef, pepper jack cheese, zesty Santa Fe sauce, and enough pickled jalapenos to give it a kick. If it got any more authentic, we'd have to serve it with a cactus and a side of tumbleweeds. The Southwest Patty Melt, now at Hardee's. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating Hardee's. Hotter and juicier beef patty as compared to the Hardee's original beef patty.
From the notebook of James Naismith to the halls of the Donald L. Tucker Center, the game of basketball has always been a Tallahassee fan favorite. The Seminole basketball team offers you the opportunity to become a bench warmer. You never know when your number's getting called. Fans now have the opportunity to purchase a $200 lower level season ticket and sit in a different seat every game. You could sit courtside as the Noles host North Carolina, Louisville, Virginia, Syracuse, Notre Dame, and Miami, and all for only $200. Purchase your tickets and become a bench warmer. Call 888-FSU-NOLE or visit Seminoles.com today.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Belichick has a plan. Very few people could see it. I could see it.
So putting the Ravens in a position to have home field, that's part of the plan?
Yeah, that is absolutely part of the plan. To make the Ravens feel like they are the favorites, that they're the best team in the NFL. And go ahead, I dare you to pick Lamar Jackson over Tom Brady, even with Brady on the road in Baltimore.
So the MVP,
AFC Championship game. I dare somebody to select the Ravens in that game. Dare you? Don't do it. I care about all of you.
The MVP of the league against a guy who, since week 4, is 30th in completion percentage, 31st in yards per attempt, and 30th in passer.
It's all a setup, Dan. It's to make people think that Brady's on the decline, and then playoffs come, and boom! Patriots-Niners Super Bowl. How about that? It's all part of the master plan.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
In basketball last night, I'll get to it. Plenty of time. We looked beleaguered. We looked tired. Played hard, played tough. Put a scare in them in the second half. No legs. Here's your summation. Saw Michigan look tired too. Good Lord. Thanks for the 43 points against number 1 Louisville. They got ass beaten.
Yeah, Wara is owning some things at Louisville right now. But I found it interesting. I was watching the highlights during the halftime of our game, and you'd believe that Wara scored 45. The way that you drew up the highlights and talked about him, you're like, how did Louisville not even get out of the 60s? And here's this guy doing everything.
You know what you get tonight? You get Ohio State, North Carolina at 9:30 on ESPN. North Carolina leads the all-time series, 12 wins to 2 in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Should be fun. Ohio State playing its first road game this season. And this is, the 15th time they've met historically. It's, as I just noted, a one-sided affair with North Carolina owning them. Also, Ohio State hasn't beaten North Carolina since 1992. It's been a minute. So we'll watch that tonight. I like the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Good stuff.
So I pulled up the opponents for next year's. I'm ready to go. I've got my notes.
You got it?
Yeah. Obviously, we only have 3 fixed dates, with West Virginia being the opener on Saturday, the 5th of September. But then you got.
Well, hold on. Before you do this,
okay.
I just want you to know, and I'm so proud of our listeners. We have this tweet that came at us during the break. Does this mean, this is from Tyler, does this mean we are about to get an unprecedented December edition of W's and L's? Well, I have to tell you, we have never had to do a December edition for next season's W's and L's. But now it's kind of commonplace, I would think. We got to start making it an annual tradition since we're obsolete by December.
Well, plus December is a month of hope now because we can't rightfully tell you in August that there's hope. We got to do it way before you could even see the thing in focus. Trust me, that's an oasis, not a beast that's going to kill you in this desert.
I kind of like that you've declared December the month of hope for FSU football for the next campaign.
We haven't. Well, the first 2 weeks of December, because you don't have the early signing period in yet, so you can see these kids that you don't get. Right? It's just like right now. Because we'll be making changes. You think about coordinator changes and coaching changes.
All kinds of changes.
There's a lot of hope on coaching change eve, and that's where we are.
So I'm pulling up schedule here for you know what we could do. If you really wanted to have fun with this, you could kind of look at the schedule for the next 2 years.
Well, geez.
We could really start to project out a little bit.
So this is the Mike Norvell campaign.
So, when do you think he starts having the kind of impact?
Buddy, with the games we've scheduled to have better opponents and home gates and all that stuff, I believe 2021 is when the LSU, it's not been confirmed yet, but the LSU neutral site kicks off, right?
Gonna need us to start to get it together and soon.
We've got no chance. There's no chance in that game against LSU 2 years out. No way.
This kind of negativity will not stand, man. You're not selling hope in December like you just said you were going to.
What are we building for that game?
All right, let's go. Go ahead, cue it. Let's go. Fire it up. Wins.
All right. How you doing?
Louses.
Damn it!
We lost. We f***ing super lost, man.
Where do we triumph? Where doth thou fall? All right. Saturday, September the 5th. Here we go. Florida State, West Virginia. Chickadee-doo. They come in with their overalls and their rat tails and yellow teeth, eat more possum signs. That's a fan base true to form right there.
Do they really have those signs?
Oh, I made that up.
Oh,
But
I bought it.
They are I've never seen a more frightening fan base in all my life than West Virginia. Good God.
I feel like I should go up just to see this fan base. I've never interacted with them.
It is something to behold, Tom Wayne.
I didn't go to Bobby's final game, so.
Something to behold. Well, and we played them a lot for a little short period of time there. Played them over in Jacksonville more than once, and anyhow, West Virginia, wearing barrels and overalls. Can't wait to burn couches and shoot stuff. Probably do meth along with it. All right, we got West Virginia, September the 5th. The game is in Atlanta, everybody's favorite Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Loss. That's an L.
Yeah, I guess so. It's closer to a coin flip than it is a surefire loss because they're not exactly put together.
It's a loss. All right, so there we go with the loss. All right, we're both going 0-1. Now, here's the problem. All the other dates, certainly in conference, are TBAs.
Right.
So we don't know the order of things. Like, for example, the next thing we do know is September the 19th against Boise State, Albertson Stadium, Boise, Idaho. You and I sitting on the 50, tanked. What a day. We're going to have a good time during that loss. All right, here we are. Boise, Idaho. You want to just do the non-conference? All right. Here are your 4 non-conference games. What are our record in our non-conference games? 0-1 against West Virginia. 0-2 against Boise.
Yep.
0-3 against Florida.
Yep.
And then you'll beat Samford.
All right, 1-4.
1-3.
1-3, sorry, 1-3. Already put Clemson in there, I guess.
Well, they're in the conference. So 1-3. 1-3.
No, they're not. They're in their own conference. They're an independent that has ACC ties.
All right. 1-3 in the non-conference for next year. Tough start to the Mike Norvell era. Got to buck up, soldiers. Let's get us some wins in the conference. A weak-ass conference at that. Let's go. Boston College, whom we've beaten each of the last 2 years despite being a mess.
That's a win.
That is a win. All right, we're up to 2 wins. Clemson is a loss. We're at 2-4.
Well,
Let's stop. Pitt.
It is being played here in Tallahassee. Let's hope that it's being played in the month of September or early October, so they got to feel the heat. I'm going with a win.
It's a coin flip contest. I'll take the win because we're at home.
The quarterback's pretty good, though. I mean, he's a true freshman. He showed some signs of life.
Oh, I'm not putting in pen. This is in pencil, but I'll go with you here.
If it's a tie game late, that dude's going to blow it if he's still the coach, Narduzzi.
Oh, he'll kick a field goal from our 20 on 4th and inches. So, by the way, is that 3 wins?
We're up to 3 wins.
We're up to 3. We got 3 wins.
3 wins.
Our 3 wins so far are over Samford, Boston College, and Pitt. All right. I like where your head's at. Wake Forest, it's here. Should have damn well beat them this year on the road. I'm giving us a win.
I am too.
That's there you go. 4 wins.
Going to get that win.
Come on, hang in there. At Louisville, that's a loss.
I'm not so sure.
They're trending in the right direction.
They are.
We're going to lose that game on the road.
Depends where we get and what time the kick is. But I'll put it down as a loss with you for the moment.
Okay. At Miami's a loss. We can't beat them, and they suck to high heaven.
If we are competently coached.
Doesn't matter. Lose the game. They have a better roster.
We're going to win that game.
No, we're not. We're going to lose that game. At NC State.
It's a win. They're a disaster. I know what that place is for us, but good God. They're not getting any better. Whereas Louisville might be trending up. You can make that argument and make a good one.
Yeah,
NC State.
Doran and them aren't. Yeah.
How is he not fired yet?
Yeah. And to think the man had the temerity to turn down the Tennessee job.
My goodness. Restart the clock.
Yeah. I'll give us a win. You're right. It's Doran, but it's coin flippy. It's coin flippy. That's 5 wins. It comes down to Syracuse.
I got us at 6 for the record.
All right. I've got us going 6-6 at best next year. You got us going 7-5 at best.
Race to 7.
I'd take 6 wins. I'd take 6 wins and go to that bowl and say, color me pink. This is a successful first year, Mike Norvell. Good job.
Maybe the poster should say, pardon our dust, and then the T-shirts could say the race to 7. That's what we're looking for, is the race to 7 wins.
Yeah. Just get bowl eligible, Tom. Let's just get bowl eligible next year, and I'll call that a success.
Remember CP7 for Heisman.com?
I do.
How about JC for 7wins.com?
I'm doing JCS for 6.
JCS for 6.com.
Yep. JCS for 6. Here we go.
And
get us
all
6 wins, Mike.
Is a webpage with one giant number on it, and that's our win total.
So, as an aside here, because I mentioned it before, let's have some giggles here. W's and L's for 2021, year 2 of Mike Norvell's era. L's. Wins.
All right. How you doing?
Losses.
Damn it! We lost! We f***ing super lost, man!
Where do we triumph? Where doth thou fall? All right, so again, all those times TBA, but you do know your non-conference. So what's cool about that is I don't know that everybody recognizes. You know, we play UMass.
We do.
We play UMass. That's right. Beautiful Doak Campbell Stadium. And that game time is already set. It's going to be in October.
Now, what if you took the M out and you put a dash there? What would they be? You ass. Because that's what they are.
Oh, I thought you were taking the M out of Minutemen.
No.
I was like, why would you do that?
That'd be UMass.
You
ass. That's what you are.
What if? Yeah. Here you go. Here's what I'll say about that. That's a win, Tom. That's a win. And it's played in beautiful October, late October. Yeah, that is definitely a win. All right, so we also play Notre Dame. It's going to be a loss.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, we do. We play Notre Dame that
Forgot
year.
about that.
That's a loss, okay? And we play Florida in Gainesville.
Maybe it's Brian Kelly coaching against his former team for the Noles.
Could very well be. I'm going to go ahead and chalk up another couple losses there with Notre Dame and Florida.
Yep.
All right, now we get into the conference schedule 2 years from now.
Wait, we don't have another one?
Not yet. No, I don't see it listed.
Oh, we don't have one scheduled yet.
I don't think it's
Well,
listed.
we're going to schedule a big win, man. Let me tell you.
We need to.
Unless it's that LSU game, which
If it's that one, then that's a loss, and it's a loss by 50. All right. At BC, win. At Clemson, loss. Louisville here, win. Miami here, finally a win. NC State here, win. Syracuse, win. My God, look at us. We're on the precipice of a playoff berth in year 2 under Norvell. At North Carolina, we'll see.
That's year 3 of Sam Howell.
Chapel Hill.
Yeesh, that's a loss.
Keenan Memorial Stadium. No, by then, the cheating network, the payoff, the pay for play, the make it happen is in place. We've found some linemen.
But that kid can run the offense, and he's a freshman.
But we'll know where we're supposed to be. Currently, we don't know where we're supposed to be. We never have any idea where on the field we're supposed to be.
So we need those freshmen and redshirt freshmen to be ready to go by then.
They got to get buttoned up
Yep.
by 2021. And then at Wake, Big 9 win campaign.
Oh, buddy. Okay. No, we're getting there.
No chance. I'm wrong about that. I'm right about next year's 6-6. It's a campaign of competence.
There's another one.
That's it.
Boy, we've got bumper stickers and T-shirts.
It's a campaign of competence. Now, the revenge tour begins in year 3.
Would it be a campaign of competence or a campaign to competence? It's like a journey because we're not going to be there.
Yeah, next year's a campaign to competence.
It's like that's the destination.
We're just getting to competent.
That's,
lead me to competence.
We're at the R&L Carriers Bowl, and we tune into ESPN3 for the trophy ceremony, which they cut away from, of course, on the regular TV network.
Yeah.
And Norvell says, we have achieved competence in my first year.
We may move into average next year, but now we are competent. Yeah, all right.
Merry Christmas, Knowles.
And we would cry with joy. After watching this disaster, bunch of guys just running around like a-holes, never knowing where they're supposed to be, losing to everybody under the sun who's any good at all, we would weep with joy.
I believe in Norvell.
Overcompetence.
Overcompetence. That's year 2.
Overcompetence we go.
That's right.
To grandmother's house. There it is. Overcompetence we go. In a sled. I like it. You know where we are, Tom? at the peak of competence.
It's time to hop in that sled, isn't it?
Let's go. That's 2 years from now. That's not, that's, that's
The
when
sled will take you down.
We've reached the summit.
It'll take you down to overconfidence, even though it's lower on the peak. Right. That's because it's downhill to get
That's
there.
right. You've been able to navigate the Black Diamonds. You made it happen. You're going. You're skiing.
You got over on competence.
That's what you did.
Yeah.
Now we're striving for excellence. Holy moly. That's like Everest.
That's a 5-year
From
plan.
where we sit here, that's Everest. Good luck. There's a lot of deaths along the way.
Yes, many deaths.
Yeah.
Like
snow melts and there's bones.
Like the moon in that show. Save me.
Yeah. Woo. Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping has been a Tallahassee staple for over 35 years. But did you know they now offer holiday lighting? AAA holiday lighting services include design consultation, setup, and takedown maintenance and lighting storage. Call them today for all your outdoor holiday lighting needs. 850-385-3319 or visit them online at AAATreeExperts.net. AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping, and now holiday lighting.
Need help moving? 2 Men and a Truck Tallahassee provides professional home and business move services, both locally and long distance. For your next move, visit 2men.com or call them at 850-224-2232. 2 Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
This hour of the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Jerry's Cigar Shop, 2810 Shara Road and 2910 Cary Forest Parkway. Online at jerrycigarshop.com.
Not all law firms are equal. So here's why Fonville Lewis Mesher McConaughey was recently voted Tallahassee's best law firm. First, we only take real cases. If your car was barely bumped and you think you're going to get rich, we're not the firm for you. We limit our practice to serious cases with legitimate claims. Second, we only take cases involving real injuries. If you know you aren't hurt but think you can fool your way into a quick settlement, we're not the firm for you. We encourage our clients to heal up and get better, not sit on the couch and expect a windfall. Third, we don't want clients who are just in it for the money. If the very first thing you think of after getting hurt is calling pound something or other on your cell phone instead of calling 911, we're not the firm for you. Your health should always come first. And finally, we won't blow smoke about a big money outcome just to get your case. Other firms overpromise and underdeliver. Our only promise is that we'll work harder than anyone to get you the best result. Remember, the law firm you have representing you makes all the difference, so don't settle for less. Call Fonville Lewis Mesher McConaughey and let us put our reputation to work for you.
As sports fans, we all know this is the best time of the year. And the best places to catch all the action are at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill and 7th Hill Tap Room. If you'd like a laid-back atmosphere, the 7th Hill Tap Room is your spot. 24 craft brew taps, plus wine options as well. And when you want to watch the pros, enjoy half off all craft drafts all day on Sundays. So whether you're feeling the upstairs at the Corner Pocket or lounging down at the 7th Hill Tap Room, your game day is always covered. 2475 Appalachia Parkway, right next to Earth Fair.
The Home Depot is giving Santa's Workshop a run for its money with free power tools from top brands like DeWalt, Milwaukee, Rigid, Ryobi, and Makita. Buy a select power tool or battery kit from any one of these trusted brands and get another select tool from the same brand free. Even Santa can't beat that. Free select power tools from top brands, only from the Home Depot Gift Center. More saving, more doing. Valid through February 2nd while supplies last.
Nice shot there, Dickie Lang. I'm sure you'll get out of the bunker this time. Here's Cameron from 160. Maybe a 9-iron. No, it's an 8-iron. Probably just hitting it 3/4.
It's the season for some Gordos. La 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 la.
Eddie? What in the world are you doing here? You don't even golf.
Be that as it may, Jeff, my holiday spirit knows no bounds. I come bearing gifts.
Outstanding. What do you have there, sir?
3 gifts. Gold, frankincense, and mahi fingers for all. Gold and frankincense not included.
Very thoughtful of you, Eddie. You don't have to do this, man.
That's what we do, man. This is the holiday season. This is the time when you show the people you love and the people that you care about just how much they mean to you.
You're absolutely right. glad we get to share this with the community together.
Well, that's why I'm here, bud. Well, that. And I want to use that driver you got.
It's par 3, Eddie, not using the driver.
7!
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
This is the Dan Levatar Show on ESPN Radio.
Broadway Joe.
Joe Namath is in the Hall of Fame. You've been useless this first hour.
Give you the snake, Eddie Stabler.
You've given me nothing. You are a monkey who hits its cymbals on a Key West street when it falls off of its owner's shoulder. Like you are just playing the hits in terms of, let me be Maximum Stugotz today. Broadway Joe.
I didn't ask for any of it.
You asked for all of it. You asked at every turn for more money. I was in the negotiations. You asked for everything. But you keep saying I didn't ask for any of this. Every last bit of it you asked for. You asked for a private plane.
I did. They're getting their money's worth today.
You asked for all of it. All of it was asked for, and then it was given to you, and then you asked for more. You kept making bigger asks, and they kept giving you more, and then you asked for more. Stop saying I didn't ask for any of this. You asked for more than it was humanly sane.
The Dan Levitar Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Balls McWednesday, brought to you by Hobbit American Grill. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving good food to good friends for good times. Online at myhobbitonline.com.
Pretty tough technical foul thrown at Leonard Hamilton last night, huh? Good Lord. Sensitive. That was absurd. Got a technical foul basically for smiling. And handled it with class and dignity. That's what he does. I've often watched over the years and thought, man, how does he keep it together? Because there are these moments where you wonder, you just do, whether that would have been called on anybody else. Just saying. And last night seemed like one of those where I went, really?
Well, if Indiana's coach was the picture of stoicism, maybe I'd understand that against the curve, Leonard looks like he's stepping out. But good God.
Yeah, look, that was a game that unfortunately did a couple of things. It certainly proves that I think Indiana has has a team this year that could be pretty good. I like that bunch. They're going to have a good season. Great? I don't know. Good? Yeah, they're going to have a good season. As for Florida State, I really don't chalk up too much in this loss, other than I really, really was impressed with how hard they played because they were dead-legged. That was a group that clearly looked tired. 3 games, 5 days. It happens. It's similar to watching Michigan play on short rest against Louisville and getting blown out. I felt like you could tell we were a step slow to everything, just didn't have our legs, but yet played really, really hard. Devante Green was phenomenal for them, and a guy has a career night, scores 30 points, is really shooting the ball. You know, going into the game last night, Devante Green was hitting 45% of his shots from beyond the arc, and I can see why. He can shoot, he can play, and he can create too. That's the area I didn't expect to see. That's also where I think we showed some tired legs.
Yes, well, the creation, even if we weren't tired, he's able to finish around the basket from crazy angles. That dude looks like a pro, plain and simple. It might have just been lightning in a bottle for a night, and he's played a whole bunch of nobodies leading up to it, so his confidence was at an all-time high. But for last night's purposes, that dude basically was a pro on the court. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and we had long scoring droughts, stretches where we just did not play well on offense. They're still figuring out who they are. I'm not worried about that at all. They've done enough so far in this non-conference to make me feel pretty good about who they're going to be. They're going to have nights where they do struggle to score, where they lack some consistency there. But they do play hard, and they do play intensely on defense, and that's going to serve them well over the course of a long season. I thought that, you know, when you when you go 6 or 7 minutes without scoring a basket, on the road, you allow for another team to really gain some momentum that's going to be hard to overcome. And yet, to start that second half, they did exactly that. Got this thing cut down to 3. That's the tenacity that I admire. That's the toughness mentally and physically that I admire. That's the thing that I can certainly hitch my wagon to moving forward. I hate to lose, especially by a sizable margin, but it's a long season. You're going to lose some games, and we were an underdog in last night's game. So, all right, played out the way that it often does when you get down on the road against a good basketball team when you've played 3 games in 5 days.
There is a little bit, but not much, rest for the weary for the Noles because it's Clemson on Sunday. With the expanded conference schedule, I feel like there are more pressure points just naturally throughout the season.
Yeah.
And so that's going to help you, I suppose, when it comes to strength of record, all that stuff that the NAT looks at. I'm glad this game wasn't played, say, on a Thursday, and you had to quickly come home and play Clemson. But given the sequence of playing teams like Tennessee and Purdue, getting on the road, true road environment, and raucous as it was up there in Bloomington, and then getting back here to play Clemson. I mean, that's for December? I mean, November into December? Are you kidding me? That's one hell of a sequence. We're going to be so battle-tested by the time we get into the middle of league play.
That's for sure, man. And that was a 7-game win streak that ended last night. So I'm not concerned in the slightest. You just cannot go on the road and turn the basketball over like they did in the first half. You can't go out and have that kind of shooting night where you begin the game, whatever it was, 2 of 8. You're going to struggle when you go through stretches like that. At the end of the day, I don't think that's really indicative. I do think they'll have moments where they struggle to score, but they are still figuring out that rotation. So, all right, let's get into it. Let's have some fun. Let's get back home. I thought that second half, you get outscored 39-34, and they hit everything under the sun, and you're still right there. So, I'm going to live with that.
Well, and how many empty possessions did we have? I get that Indiana turned the ball over a bunch themselves, but how many empty possessions? Can I say possessions?
Possessions.
Without saying with like a Spanish flourish, like possessions. With the traveling. I mean, good. The first half I thought, wow, well, we're not going to travel this much the rest of the season in one half. And then the second half happened. I was, well, maybe that's just who we are.
Yeah, I think I uttered the phrase, what's with all the traveling? I think I said that. What with the traveling and all?
Well, with the traveling, with the steps.
What's with all the travel?
Easy with the steps.
Again with the travel.
But it was also good to see that we can hit 3-pointers with some regularity, even if it was just for a brief moment to start the second half.
Very brief, but a really cool moment. I went, oh, that went in. So did that one. And look at that one.
Of course, the polite one went in off of a broken play and just a weird sequence.
Yeah.
If something weird happens and he gets a shot off, it's going in. If something routine happens, I don't expect the shot to go in.
At the end of the day, you only use this as a barometer, as a reference point. You kind of look at the early season games and teams and try to adjust your expectations accordingly with each game that you take in because you don't have a ton of data points just yet. But for Florida State, it's a thing to be to me as we kind of break down the schedule here in pieces. What do you think? Florida State's the teams that I've watched, and certainly that's not all of them, not even close. If you look at Ken Palm, we're 20th. You tell me we're the 20th best team in the country? I don't know about that, but in that neighborhood, I would take that. If I told you before the year began.
Oh, God. I'd say show me all the games right now,
Yeah.
back to back, because
Yeah,
I want to watch this montage.
Yeah, you want to know how that happens, right? You'd go, okay.
If they're top 40, I'll take it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we gave Tennessee their only loss at this point, obviously, and if you just look at, again, looking at Ken Palm, just trying to get a gauge early in the year, you see some real quality wins for Florida State, and it puts them in that neighborhood.
If they're in and out of the top 25 polls all year, this is so above my expectations. I think most people's, given all we lost from year to year.
Oh, without question. Hour number 2, fourth company. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Ball
in the South. Join me every weekday at 1 p.m. right here for wall-to-wall coverage of every big program in the region. Whether it's the ACC or SEC, college football is always on our minds. The conversation happens right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee Sports Monster.
One of my favorite things about being a member at Orange Theory Fitness is the sense of community. Initially, after taking the tour and seeing the state-of-the-art equipment, I was intrigued. I became convinced even once I researched the science-backed technology track, coach-inspired workouts, all of that. But what I didn't count on was the support, the sense of camaraderie shown by the members and the coaches. You realize pretty quickly you're not alone. And when you're pushing yourself through barriers and attempting to be your personal best, you can use all the help you can get. And it's there. It's amongst the members and coaches at Orange Theory Fitness. To learn more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Are you starting a new business or expanding your business? Looking for the right general contractor to assist you with a tenant space build-out? Look no further. From restaurant to retail, we have the experience to work with you. At T-Spark Enterprises, we are ready to be a part of your vision and build a space that exceeds your expectations. Whether you're looking for design build or build from your own design, give us a call today for a free consultation. As the owner of T-Spark Enterprises, I guarantee when it comes to your business space, we only provide picture-perfect results.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CGC 1525336.
Come visit the new and exciting Hangar 38. This amazing place is for everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier, full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
Lane's Medical Shop has all of your home medical needs. They carry home oxygen, hospital beds, nebulizers, walkers, wheelchairs, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and all sleep apnea supplies. Lane's also has a weight loss clinic in-house, no appointment necessary, including B12 injections and any prescriptions necessary with the lowest prices around, and delivers to Tallahassee in South Georgia. Located only 40 miles from Tallahassee, go see Blake today, 210 West Main Street, Colquitt, Georgia, 229-758-9111.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news from baseball. Righty Zach Wheeler and the Phillies agreed on a 5-year, $118 million contract, reports ESPN's Jeff Passan. Braves and lefty Cole Hamels agreed on a 1-year, $18 million deal. Rays in the city of St. Petersburg have broken off talks regarding the possibility of the team playing some home games in a location other than the Tampa Bay area. Panthers quarterback Cam Newton slated for surgery next week on the Lisfranc injury in his left foot. He hasn't played since week 2. In addition to Carolina, Newton's health impacts other teams throughout the NFL as well, believes ESPN's Dan Orlovsky.
Everyone has tied Cam Newton to leaving Carolina and potentially going somewhere else. Well, now all those other teams that thought of Cam Newton being as a potential replacement in free agency next year, you got to look at that. Okay, where is his health? How important was this surgery? How impactful was this surgery? Is he going to be 100%?
Taylor center Marquise Pouncey told reporters he had no regrets about his role in last month's brawl with the Browns, said the fight was worth it. Pouncey's original 3-game suspension reduced to 2 games on appeal.
Vivid Seats, the top ticket source for the live events you crave, now has a loyalty program that allows fans to earn credit back. Go to the App Store or Google Play, download the Vivid Seats app, and enter promo code ESPN25 for 10% off your next order.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Balls McWednesday, brought to you by Hobbit American Grill. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving good food to good friends for good times. Online at myhobbitonline.com.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. Hello. Little Balls McWednesday action for you. Email the show if you like, jcs at 979ESPNradio.com. We're on Twitter at Jay Cameron Show, WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Hello, YouTubers and Periscopers. So it begins Friday night, Utah and Oregon. Given the luck that the Pac-12 has, that's an Oregon win. Thanks for playing. If those things play out the way they so seldom or so often, I should say, do for the Pac-12. And then everything else, get it on Saturday with a lot of rematches. Baylor and Oklahoma at noon. Louisiana Lafayette and Appalachian State in beautiful Boone, North Carolina, Tom. Noon, Miami of Ohio versus Central Michigan, Detroit. I won't say beautiful Detroit, just Detroit. UAB at Florida Atlanta and Boca Raton, Florida. Beautiful Boca Raton, Florida. Rematch Cincinnati and Memphis in Memphis, Tennessee. Fun town, Memphis. Fun town. Georgia, LSU in Atlanta. That is a 4 p.m. kick, if you were wondering. The sadness that is the primetime affair in the ACC is Virginia and Clemson. Couldn't have moved that LSU game to primetime.
It's always been mid-afternoon.
I know it has. I know. Hawaii having to come to the mainland. Do you think the folks of Hawaii are pleased to be in Boise in December? That's a toughie.
Probably not.
No, I'm going to guess they're going to say, who lives here? And then 8 o'clock prime time, Ohio State tells Wisconsin, come take your ass beaten again. Pardue.
So Mike Golick Sr. was outlining this earlier today driving in, and he's right. If you are an Oklahoma or a Baylor fan, you are going to sweat it out all weekend because first comes the Pac-12 game that precedes yours, and you're rooting for Oregon like crazy.
Big time, because then you got a great shot, obviously.
And if Oregon does what the Pac-12 usually does, that means the lower-ranked team rises up and beats the one that's the favorite. Then you're in business because you're playing for a chance at the playoff.
You're playing for the playoffs.
Perhaps.
Unless Georgia wins.
But then even if you win that game and you got the result you needed on Friday, you got to sweat through the SEC championship game.
Correct.
Good God.
Yeah, if Georgia beats LSU, this is all a moot point. But Oklahoma, who has been sweating out results against middling teams for some time now, which included a hell of a comeback, a historic comeback against Baylor. Baylor gets a shot at their revenge. But, yeah, it's interesting with what the committee revealed here with Utah being ranked ahead of Oklahoma. If you look at the schedules up to this point, Tom, not great schedules for either team, that's to say the least. No real signature wins for either team as well. But Oklahoma has played a slightly more difficult schedule, ever so slightly, and Utah's still ranked ahead of them. That ain't good for Oklahoma.
It's not, but we've seen drastic changes between.
We have, but it's not like Utah's playing an unranked team. They're playing Oregon. They'd be beating the number 13 team in the country, and they have dominated in their wins. So I guess what I'm getting at, style points may matter here.
Yes, I think they do.
But if you're Oklahoma and you're not blowing anybody out, you haven't in weeks, I don't know, man. I just would think that a close win by Oklahoma and a close win by Utah, Utah's going over Oklahoma. Or same for Baylor.
Are Ohio State, LSU, and Clemson all safe if they lose this weekend? All three of them.
Ohio State, Clemson, and LSU.
Are they all safe if they lose?
Yes.
Okay. Clemson would have been the only one where I think you'd give it a second look, right, because of the strength of schedule. If, let's say, Oklahoma wins convincingly and Utah wins convincingly.
Virginia's ranked.
I don't think you'd leave them out. Don't get me wrong, because I think they're the best team in the country. But just if something weird happened and you know.
Yeah, who would you put in? Would you put Oklahoma in over Clemson?
Well, it could be Oklahoma and Utah both.
Well, but I'm saying let's just start with Oklahoma. Would you put them over Clemson?
No.
Oklahoma's loss was as a 24-point favorite. No.
I wouldn't. I'm testing the question.
Clemson's
Are
loss would be
three
as a
conference
favorite.
championship games meaningless for the top three teams? Like, they don't have to win the conference championship game.
I think it is for LSU. They're in for sure, and I think Ohio State's in for sure. So certainly those two. Clemson's the only one that's kind of like, especially since it does seem like the committee holds them to a different standard for whatever reason.
Just interesting. Usually these things are the crescendo, the conference title games, but it's just odd how this year you have three of them that really the result doesn't.
Clemson's not losing to Virginia.
It
so
doesn't
this
take
will
the
be a
team
moot
out.
point.
Because it used to be about when you lost, but not in this case.
Back in the day. Well, what this does is further fuel the argument for a tweak to the system. I mean, it's the Power Five. So you have this is your problem. You got 4 spots in 5 Power 5 conferences.
I've always liked it that way, personally. I like musical chairs better than everybody gets in.
Well, in the interest of fairness, since we're going by the eye test, I think you kind of can't do that. You're going to have 5 spots for your Power 5 winners and then pick the other 3 from your group of,
At that point, I don't know that I want to
I know
go
you
to,
think it cheapens the regular season,
it
certainly,
does.
but yeah.
I think it also frees up teams to schedule better in-season opponents from across conferences.
Right. Which
because
is something
there's
I
less
want to
fear.
see. Yeah. Well, once they expanded to this point, I was like, okay, well, we know what's going to happen. I mean, you were either for that or against that, and you were vehemently against that because, and I don't mean you specifically, I'm just talking to the people who were. If you were vehemently against that, it was because you knew where it was going. You knew that 4 was going to be 8. It was always going to be.
The one thing I'd argue, though, is I don't think, with the exception of the first year of the college football playoff where Ohio State gets in, and there's talk about, the Big 12 representative should have been in there instead of Ohio
Was
State.
that the Baylor-TCU year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly,
the committee kind of made it up as they went along that year.
When you look, well, of course
they do that all the time.
6, 7, and 8. I mean, do we ever really feel like they got cheated out of a national championship? Has that happened yet? I mean, would UCF be the closest thing to that example?
Yeah, well, it's never really about whether you think they would win the national title.
So the BCS or the Bowl Alliance, that happened a hell of a lot more than it does now. Mm-hmm. I feel like history so far says the cutoff is somewhere between 4 and 6, somewhere in there. 4 and 5, really, about who has a legitimate chance to win the title.
It's just that college football doesn't do it on the field. You just have this problem. It's an inherent problem with the way that they crown their champion. It's just not, it's always going to be a problem. It's frustrating for people.
I saw I forget who it was on ESPN, but they posited that, what if you eliminated conference championship weekend and you made that the first round of the college football playoff. And there were home games.
That'd be fun.
I would wonder what the money would look like. Would you end up making more money as a conference? Like, so the Big 12, they just reinstituted their conference championship game. So they know how much more they make from that particular game, the extra 13th game of the season. Would you make more money as a conference if you split the revenue up amongst all conference members, or is it actually more lucrative to be in a conference championship game than the first round of this supposed playoff?
Yeah. I know. I'd like to see the numbers on that.
That will dictate whether or not something such as that would happen.
Yeah, it would. I think that they are definitely moving towards the 8th. We're going to see that in the not-too-distant future, one would think. I will say this. There's going to be some folks screaming bloody murder. If Utah wins, they're the number 5 team in the country. They've manhandled everybody they've played, save for USC. They had one close game against Washington on the road. No, they won that game too. But it's not a great schedule. I got it. But they lost on the road to a ranked team. Wasn't that a Friday night too? Anyhow, they lost that game to USC, and their best player got hurt. If they go on and beat Oregon and they get excluded and Oklahoma gets in after looking as middling as they have for much of this season, that conference, you can argue both ways. I got that. I'm just telling you that conference would be. Are you effing kidding me?
Well, okay. Where is Oregon in the rankings? I got to go find them. They're 13th. And Baylor is 7th?
Yeah.
You've got a compelling argument to make that you're facing a top 10 opponent versus an opponent outside the top 10, and a victory over that would vault you over the 5th-ranked team in the country.
It's a rematch game with Baylor.
It is. But I don't know that should have a bearing necessarily, should it? I mean, does it cheapen Baylor's victory that they played Oklahoma twice? If Baylor were to go on and win by 10 points, does it cheapen Oklahoma's victory if they beat Baylor? I mean, it's still a top top 7, top 8 opponent versus 13th.
What you're getting at here is that point I was making at the beginning, which is that in fairness, because we're now talking about style points and really the margins. I mean, Oklahoma has not looked good, but the schedule would be slightly better. Slightly better, I suppose. Utah's like, wait a minute. We've killed everybody. I mean, we have top 10 in offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency. We're in the top 10 in both categories. We beat people's asses, throttle them. So when we play average teams, we kill them. And now we're beating a top 13 team. Hey, look, man, it's we belong in. And Oklahoma would say we do. Baylor would say we do. And you know what? They probably both do.
Okay, so what if it's 24-21 Utah? Oregon misses a game-tying field goal to send it to overtime, right? Mm-hmm. And Oklahoma wins 38-21. Oklahoma in?
38-21?
38-21.
Nah.
How about 41-21?
56-0.
Oh, God. Okay.
I don't think Oklahoma's equipped to do it.
Well, they did in the second half at Baylor.
The second half, sure, but they got housed that first half. It was tale of two halves indeed. Hey, believe me, I'm rooting for Oklahoma. You know that. But I've watched that Oklahoma team all year long. They got problems.
I don't know that it's cut and dry. I mean, Utah's got to win first. They got to do what the Pac-12 doesn't.
Well, I'm not saying it's cut and dry. I'm just saying that conference, which always gets excluded, will be screaming bloody murder if you have basically equal resumes. And Utah, who's currently number 5, ranked ahead of Oklahoma and Baylor, beats another ranked team, and they're like, yeah, you're out. Really? What are we doing? You're telling us so far this year, Oklahoma, up to this point, well, not looking good, has clearly had more, ever so slightly, quality wins, if you will, than Utah. And yet Utah's ranked over Oklahoma currently.
Right.
The committee's telling you they believe Utah is a better team than Oklahoma.
I don't believe that's what the committee's saying. I think they're willy-nilly until they have to make a decision about something. We've seen that before. We've seen teams drop. I mean, we were worried about Florida State dropping out of the top 4, and then magically we're in third out of nowhere for the first college football playoff.
I do. Well, you're right. You're making the case they make it up. I
think they do.
But that's part of the problem here. They make it up. And if you're just going to make it up, the Pac-12's like, well, why do we even play? Why are we here? You're never clearly going to side with us.
Well, we sent Washington in and Alabama.
Well, they had no choice that year.
Right, yes.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Printing services and promotional items for you to show off your team pride, including koozies, t-shirts, banners, even hats and blankets. So while you're cheering for your team in the stands or in the comfort of your home, choose Budget Printing. Budget Printing, stop by our location on 1366 Bluntstown Street in Tallahassee or give us a call at 850-576-3332. AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping has been a Tallahassee staple for over 35 years. But did you know they now offer holiday lighting? AAA holiday lighting services include design consultation, setup, and takedown maintenance and lighting storage. Call them today for all your outdoor holiday lighting needs. 850-385-3319 or visit them online at AAATreeExperts.net. AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping, and now holiday lighting.
Looking for a bit of cowboy flavor? Introducing Hardee's Southwest Patty Melt. A hearty sandwich with all the taste of the great American Southwest. We're talking a hotter, juicier, thick burger made with 100% black Angus beef, pepper jack cheese, zesty Santa Fe sauce, and enough pickled jalapenos to give it a kick. If it got any more authentic, we'd have to serve it with a cactus and a side of tumbleweeds. The Southwest Patty Melt. Now at Hardee's. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating Hardee's. Hotter and juicier beef patty as compared to the Hardee's original beef patty.
This hour of the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Jerry's Cigar Shop, 2810 Shera Road and 2910 Cary Forest Parkway. Online at jerrycigarshop.com.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Shera Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Noel fans, 97.9 ESPN Radio's exclusive home for 2019 away game watch parties is Hangar 38 in Bannerman Crossing.
Looking for the slant. This time Terry's got it, and he's into the end zone. That's a Florida State touchdown.
The Jeff Cameron Show crew will be on hand for every Seminole away football game for contests, prizes, and a good time.
They'll feed it to him again. Look out. Touchdown!
So when the Knowles hit the road, join us at Hangar 38 in Bannerman Crossing, the exclusive watch party headquarters for 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee's sports monster.
At Trico, we know a thing or two about building things that last. We've spent the past 100 years focused on innovation, engineering, and manufacturing wiper blades designed for safety and reliability when you need it most. Which brings us to today. Introducing Trico's newest blade, Trico Max. 100% made in the USA, and the only wiper blades built to last 3 times longer than average wiper blades. Switch to Trico Max today. Available exclusively at Advance Auto Parts stores.
The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Paid in full. Thinking of a master plan. Ain't nothing but
you heard that report earlier. St. Pete and the Rays in talks of sharing team's home slate with Montreal in a non-starter. That should have never been a story, was never going to happen, and I don't even believe it was real, but there you go. Now it's officially not going to happen. And then I would also take a look here at the at the signing of free agents this offseason, and probably a pending down-the-line strike going to happen in Major League Baseball, or holdout of some sort.
In terms of market value not being lived up to?
Yeah, you're gonna see something akin to that frustration for just the everyday guy. Stars get paid. Everybody else kind of, you reach a certain age, doesn't matter if you're productive, you got no shot.
Oh, wow. Zach Wheeler to the Phillies?
Zach Wheeler to the Phillies for $118 million, 5-year deal.
You got him. In that ballpark? Jeez.
Turned down a larger offer, by the way, from the White Sox. Wow. That was in excess of over $120 million. Considered the prize of free agency class for teams in search of starting pitching that didn't want to compete for the likes of Garrett Cole and or Steven Strasburg.
I mean, he's going to have a month or two in there, his first season where you go, this guy's unstoppable. And then he's going to start walking dudes again, 2 outs, nobody on. Been there, lived through that.
Yeah. I just wish for you, buddy, that he doesn't go on to be the next Garrett Cole.
Well, then that would mean they've got good coaching, good development and coaching and all that stuff.
By the way, it's pretty interesting, though. You look at those numbers. He's made 60 starts over the past 2 seasons. He's 23-15, whatever about the record. 3.65 ERA, 374 strikeouts. He's been good.
Yeah, he's a 3 or a 4. It's just he was billed to be, Jacob deGrom before we actually had a Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, if you're I guess if you're just a solid 3, man, there's great value in that.
Over $20 million a season worth.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, there are a lot of teams that just simply cannot go after Garrett Cole or Steven Strasburg. So, yeah, he's next up. That's what you'd have to get.
And I saw the Braves sign Cole Hamels. What? 1 year, $18 million. $18 million for Cole Hamels.
It's rather amazing, isn't it? Money for pitching and average pitching at that is always something that you're reminded is of great value, apparently. You just kind of, really? Okay. Not bad work if you can get it. Teach your kids to throw lefty. And as long as they're, even slightly below average.
Yeah.
By the industry standard, they're going to make a ton of money, life-altering money for generations.
That would be my retort to the union, is that old-ass Cole Hamels is worth $18 million a season. I think you guys are doing okay.
Yeah, I baseball salaries always, they seem to never reflect the general attitude of where baseball's at in terms of financial stability. When you see the salaries for some of these guys, you can't help but think that baseball must be prospering in a way that is never described by the media or those that declare doomsday imagery for baseball 20 years from now.
Well, you got to look at per capita when you're talking about game revenue. They play 10 times as many as the NFL.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about TV contracts and the fact that they're not competing against anything for most of their season, that's a valuable commodity to have because everything else is on-demand television. So it's 160 of these things I'm selling. It may be a quarter of the price of the NFL, but I'm selling 10 times as many.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you just, almost every national host in the country will talk about the pending doom of baseball and how nobody watches it, nobody cares about it, and yet Cole Hamels is going to make $20 million. You've got pitchers who will make $200 million.
Yeah, well, they don't understand. Well, you'll have a pitcher that maybe makes $400 million in the near term. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But, it's an issue of quantity. They've got a ton of it, like a freaking ton that you could sell to local sponsors and the RSN money. That's where I think the bubble may burst, but it hasn't yet.
We've been talking about that for some time now, right? When is the bubble going to burst? I don't know. Let's do a Who's Hot, Who's Cold from our friends at Barno Heating and Air Conditioning. Fire it up, brother.
It's time for Who's Hot?
It's so damn hot.
Who's cold?
Looks like she's going to turn cold tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Got a front coming in.
Yeah, you got that right.
Who's Hot, Who's Cold, brought to you by Barno Heating and Air Conditioning. My friends, best in the business, have helped out this station for years, have helped out the Camerons for years as well. They are, the best of the best. Efficient carrier, central heating and cooling systems for you. Find out about all of the ways they can save you a ton of money, frankly. That's what it's about right there. All right, Who's Hot, Who's Cold? Let's start with Deshaun Watson. Great game and a victory over the Pats, 28-22. He was 18 of 25, 234 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. That'll get it done. Aaron Rodgers doesn't mind inclement weather. He's proven that time and again. 21 of 33, 243 yards, 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions. In a virtual blizzard in New York, 31-13. They win, cruise to victory there. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, how about that? Little Fitzmagic yet again as they rise up and beat Philadelphia. He is 27 of 39, 365 yards, 2 touchdowns, 37-31 win over the Eagles, leading them to a comeback. Did Fitzpatrick once down 14-0. That will give you an indication of just how bad Philadelphia's secondary is. Cold, Derek Carr, thanks for the 20 of 30. Check down Charlie, 222 yards. Dink, 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 dink. They get routed 40-9. That guy was having a good year.
It's been a rough couple of weeks for Oakland.
Yeah, really ugly and really rough since post-Tampa Bay for Daniel Jones, who has not been nearly as good and is now hurt. 20 of 37, 240 yards, 3 picks in a loss to Green Bay. the old 59 QBR. Nick Foles was even worse, as we saw, as the Bucs dominated. Thanks for the 1.1 QBR from Nick Foles, who didn't look like he, A, wanted to be out there, B, looked like the game had passed him by. It was too fast. Couldn't process. That was interesting.
It'll slow down once he gets cut and goes to Philly.
I guess so. Hot also, Derrick Henry, 26 carries, 149 yards and a touchdown, 34-yard run from scrimmage to boot. He had a lot of long runs for a guy who's rumbling.
He's also quietly the best back in the league last month to 6 weeks.
He's been really good.
Yeah.
Darius Geis had himself a fine afternoon as well. 10 carries, 129 yards. The old 12.9 yards per rush. Ooh, jeez, guys. That's doing some things. Robert Woods had 13 catches on 19 targets for 172 yards. Devontae Parker for the Dolphins, 7 catches, 10 targets, 159 yards, 2 TDs against the Eagles. And old Cole Beasley had 6 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. Revenge game for Beasley, who, of course, left Dallas for the Bills in the offseason.
That was way back on Thanksgiving. I almost forgot about that game.
It did happen.
Another big opportunity for Cole
right?
against the Baltimore Ravens this weekend.
And finally, I would say cold Mohamed Sanu, who we thought would be better than he's been. Thanks for 3 catches and 14 yards. My man, what are we doing here? That ain't getting it done.
Just envision the guy who's like, all right, I'm starting Sanu. He's going to put up some points. Houston, spotty. They don't get to the passer. There's your 3 catches, 14 yards.
That hurts your feelings. That also hurts your feelings. I was looking at just thinking back on the results over the weekend, since like we were talking about now we get these final 10. I forgot that final, so I double-checked it. Ohio State 56, Michigan 27. That's pretty brutal.
Speaking of cold, it was a cold day in Michigan.
By the way, the Texas A&M game, one of their 7 wins this year, only one will be against a team that's going to a bowl game. That's it.
Trying to think who that is.
I guess they did get a win.
Mississippi State or something like that?
Well, they're borderline, right?
I don't know. Can't name them off the top of my head.
None of the other 6 opponents that lost to Texas A&M have won more than 4 games. So, there it is.
Right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
And I want to get the best deal, but there are so many options, I don't know which one to choose. I wish there was a way to make this simpler.
With so many choices, a major appliance purchase like this can be overwhelming. The City of Tallahassee helps make the choice simple by offering rebates on Energy Star appliances. You can receive up to $300 in rebates on refrigerators, clothes washers, and more. Are you thinking about purchasing and installing a smart thermostat to help minimize your home energy costs? With the city's rebates, you can get up to $100 off eligible options. Stack your savings this holiday season by coupling in-store deals with rebates from the City of Tallahassee. Visit talgov.com/YOU. That's talgov.com/YOU. Or call 850-891-4968 to learn more. That's 850-891-4968.
AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping has been a Tallahassee staple for over 35 years. But did you know they now offer holiday lighting? AAA holiday lighting services include design consultation, setup, and takedown maintenance and lighting storage. Call them today for all your outdoor holiday lighting needs. 850-385-3319 or visit them online at AAATreeExperts.net. AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping, and now holiday lighting.
Hello folks, William Barnum Floyd here. I've been truly blessed to have the support of Seminole fans for nearly 3 decades. Tallahassee holds a special place in my heart. On that note, I wanted to give a special shout out to a very special couple, Chris and Kelly. They've been friends of mine for years and I consider them family. They welcome me into their lives in many ways, and you can always find them supporting the Seminoles at sporting events. I know a championship couple when I see one, and that's why I'm telling you, they are the real deal. That's why I ask you to consider them the next time you're looking to buy a new car. Who are they? It's Chris Kraft and his wife Kelly. Chris is one of the Kraft brothers, owners of Kraft Nissan and the new Infiniti of Tallahassee. They do what it takes to get you into the car you want. I've seen them in action. It doesn't matter if your credit is on the field or on the sideline with a few dings. Their finance department will make it happen. You know why? Because they're committed to helping families break out of the pattern of used car after used car. So head on in to Kraft Nissan and the new Infiniti of Tallahassee and experience the Kraft Brothers dealership commitment to excellence.
A Kraft Brothers dealership.
As sports fans, we all know this is the best time of the year. And the best places to catch all the action are at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill and 7th Hill Tap Room. If you're a fan of an action-packed environment, the Corner Pocket is the place to be. Happy hour specials every day, including all day on Sundays, with sports in HD everywhere you look. For location hours and menu, head to cptallybar.com. Whether you're feeling the upstairs at the Corner Pocket or lounging down at the 7th Hill Tap Room, your game day is always covered. 2475 Appalachie Parkway, right next to Earth Fair.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi, breaking baseball news from ESPN's Jeff Passan. Right-hander Zach Wheeler and the Phillies agreed on a 5-year contract worth over $100 million. Braves and lefty Cole Hamels agreed 1 year, $18 million. The Rays and City of St. Petersburg have broken off talks regarding the possibility of the team playing some home games in a location other than the Tampa Bay area. NFL Panthers quarterback Cam Newton plans to have foot surgery. He hasn't played since aggravating the Lisfranc injury in Week 2. There are a few factors Carolina will take into account before deciding on Cam's future, including his health, explains ESPN's Ryan Clark.
I want to know, can I get old Cam back? Because I understand getting old Cam back or something close to that gives me a great opportunity to win in this league. And we know he has 1 year left on his deal. He'll count about $21 million against the cap. It has to be seen if they're going to let the business side weigh into their decision.
Ryan Clark on Golick and Wingo. Giants likely to start quarterback Eli Manning in place of the injured Daniel Jones Monday against the Eagles.
Worried about finding the perfect gift this holiday? We've got you covered, because when you give the gift of Peloton, you're giving the gift they're guaranteed to love with efficient, high-intensity cardio workouts right at home all year long. For more details, see onepeloton.com.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Balls McWednesday, brought to you by Hobbit American Grill. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving good food to good friends for good times. Online at myhobbitonline.com.
Good. The former NFL running back will receive SI's Muhammad Ali Legacy Award in honor of his longstanding charitable efforts and philanthropy. Warrick Dunn, man, makes us all proud. Story reads as follows. After playing at Florida State University, Dunn, 44, spent 12 seasons in the NFL with the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was drafted in the first round of the 1997 NFL Draft. By the way, time flies. And in that same year was named NFL Rookie of the Year by Football News, Pro Football Weekly, and Sports Illustrated. But Dunn did something even more impactful off the field during his rookie season. He started the Homes for the Holidays program to provide economically disadvantaged single parents and their families with the opportunity to own a home. At 22, Dunn started the program as a tribute to his mother, Betty Smothers, a Baton Rouge police officer who is a single mother of 6, worked tirelessly to achieve the American dream of owning her own home and was killed in the line of duty while working additional hours as an off-duty police officer. 2002, Dunn founded Warrick Dunn Charities in order to expand his charitable efforts beyond Home for the Holidays, creating 3 additional programs that help combat poverty and improve the quality of lives for families academically, socially, and economically. After retiring from the league in 2008, Dunn has continued to make a difference in the lives of others. To date, Dunn has provided more than now 170 homes for families in need. Dunn's commitment to giving back reflects the spirit of Sports Illustrated's Muhammad Ali Legacy Award, which celebrates individuals whose dedication to the ideas of sportsmanship has spanned decades and whose career in athletics has directly or indirectly impacted the world. The award presentation will take place at SI Sportsperson of the Year event on December the 9th at Ziegfeld Ballroom in New York City. Thank you, Warrick Dunn, from humanity.
That's what that guy does, and we should never grow tired of it. We should never grow used to it. We should always be thankful for each and every person, because, I mean, what difference does it make? What an unspeakably large difference does it make to that person who might be 121 in line or 150 in line or 250 when he gets there? It's just incredible how he fundamentally helps and shapes lives.
Yeah, you think about legacy, man. I never even think about football with Warrick Dunn. I mean, you know, that's how, and he was great. He was great. He was great in the way that not only the awards that I just announced and the things that he achieved on the football field, he was great in the sense that a little bit before his time. And then secondly, you know, even now when you look at total yards, he's a guy that many debate about the Hall of Fame, right? So you were that good on the football field where that's even a question or a conversation. And yet it's not even close to the first thing I think about whenever his name is mentioned.
He said it, too. You interviewed him some years ago, and you asked him if he thinks he's a Hall of Famer, and he said absolutely.
That was 2 years ago, and yeah, he did. He said he thought he was a Hall of Famer. I love that he didn't back down from that. He did talk about the things he was able to do before it became in vogue to have these kind of dual-threat backs catching the ball out of the backfield. He also did say, and it's great because they did the commercial about it, especially when fantasy football got big. He did laugh. He said, just think of all the touchdowns I would have had if I didn't have a touchdown vulture that was Mike Allstott.
He wasn't the first of his kind, Mike Allstott, but he may have perfected it, especially for his generation. A little bit of breaking news, not Florida State related for coaching. I want to put that out there so people don't freak out. But Pete Thamel tweets about the situation at USC. Expect official resolution on Clay Helton's future in the next few hours. The strong expectation remains he stays with USC with further investment from the university. So they're not standing pat. They're going to spend some more money on Clay Helton at USC. That tweet was just 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, he made it really difficult on him. I mean, if you think about the situation they're in, if you're one of those guys that would really like to see USC move on and get a bigger name and a more well-thought-of coach from Clay Helton, then, you know, you didn't need him to keep winning his way back into the top 25. And it didn't help them either. If you think about it, you're making the case to get rid of the guy, and he's the only guy that engineered a win over Utah this year. He's got to be like, guys,
exactly.
I know you hate me, but I'm winning a lot of games.
Well, and especially when it's not local or regional, right? When you may have somebody who's got an in. Thamel isn't quite Wojnarowski or Schefter, but he's close for that particular part of the job, breaking stuff about coaching hirings, firings, extensions, and those types of things. Sure. So you can take that if he puts strong expectation, that means he's been told it's happening, but he doesn't have the 100% the way he wants it.
Yeah, and the only thing I'd say about that, again, is that I guess that what that allows you to do is circle back around to talk to perhaps a James Franklin. You know, now again, I don't know, but if he was holding out for the USC job, that is now off the table, and he is, let's say, absolutely unhappy in his current job. I guess you got a shot to make a splash hire still. Why wouldn't you? Listen, if you were going to give all that money to Bob Stoops, it's not about the salary. It would be about something else.
James, how do you feel about your relationship with Penn State? I've had over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days.
Oh, man. Yeah, I guess for those that really want that splash and the excitement that surrounds a coaching hire, he would be the last guy that gives you a hope for that, because I don't think, obviously, that Bob Stoops is coming. So that's what you got. Other than that, probably getting the Memphis coach.
We get to watch the AAC championship with bated breath. Be a fun weekend.
I'd be watching either way because the number of football games we can still watch are dwindling by the second, and I'm uncomfortable about all this.
Is there an angle on that? Outgoing coach, like the Scott Frost thing from a couple of years ago. Is there a way to play that?
There is a way to play that. We'll discuss it tomorrow on a Redemption Thursday. That's what we'll do. We'll tease it a day in advance. How about that? It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Couple girls in the megaphone, telling all the saints that they can't.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
And coaches at Orange Theory Fitness. To learn more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
From the notebook of James Naismith to the halls of the Donald L. Tucker Center, the game of basketball has always been a Tallahassee fan favorite. The Seminole basketball team offers you the opportunity to become a bench warmer. You never know when your number's getting called. Fans now have the opportunity to purchase a $200 lower level season ticket and sit in a different seat every game. You could sit courtside as the Noles host North Carolina, Louisville, Virginia, Syracuse, Notre Dame, and Miami. And all for only $200. Purchase your tickets and become a bench warmer. Call 888-FSU-NOLE or visit Seminoles.com today.
Ho, ho, ho! The holidays are here, and the Florida Lottery has the must-get gifts of the season. Holiday Luck Scratch-Offs. They offer over 21 million winning tickets and more than $483 million in cash prizes. Wow! These are great!
Santa, where are you going?
Gotta get one!
Holiday Luck Scratch-Offs. Pretty much everyone's gonna want them. The Florida Lottery. It's your ticket.
Claim it!
Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly.
Come visit the new and exciting Hangar 38. This amazing place is for everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
This is the Dan Levitar Show on ESPN Radio.
Broadway Joe.
Joe Namath is in the Hall of Fame. You've been useless this first hour.
Give you the snake, Eddie Taylor.
You've given me nothing. You are a monkey who hits its cymbals on a Key West street when it falls off of its owner's shoulder. Like you are just playing the hits in terms of, let me be Maximum Stugotz today. Broadway Joe.
I didn't ask for any of it.
You asked for all of it. You asked at every turn for more money. I was in the negotiations. You asked for everything. But you keep saying I didn't ask for any of this. Every last bit of it you asked for. You asked for a private plane.
I did. They're getting their money's worth today.
You asked for all of it. All of it was asked for, and then it was given to you, and then you asked for more. You kept making bigger asks, and they kept giving you more, and then you asked for more. Stop saying I didn't ask for any of this. You asked for more than it was humanly sane.
The Dan Levitar Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Oh, don't we love this? We love 2019 NFL playoff scenarios. Always. You ready to follow along? Now, you can't drive. You won't be able to follow along. if you're serious about following along and knowing as you sit down to watch these games this Sunday, exactly what has to happen for your team or the scenario you want to see play out, then you got to lock in with me here. Nobody's clinched in the AFC. So here we go. You ready? The Baltimore Ravens are 10-2 at Buffalo. Great game Sunday, 1 o'clock CBS. Watch it. I'm going to. You should too. Should be a great one. Weather could be a problem. I'm looking forward to it big time. Baltimore clinches the AFC North title division title, I should say, with a win plus a Pittsburgh loss or tie. Pretty straightforward.
That's 101 level stuff for this time of year.
We're good. Baltimore wins the division if they win their game against Buffalo and Pittsburgh loses or ties. Probably not going to be a tie, but it could happen. Also, Baltimore would win the division if they tie and Pittsburgh loses.
But Pittsburgh cannot tie.
Pittsburgh cannot tie in that scenario.
So we lift the tie, we move it around Baltimore.
We move it around.
And then, yeah.
Now, Baltimore, in addition, doesn't have to win the division just to qualify for the playoffs, right? There are other ways for Baltimore to get in. If Baltimore were to tie and then Houston lost or tied in their game, Baltimore's going to the playoffs regardless. They won't be division winners, but they would be going to the playoffs regardless.
Okay, so they could still have a letter next to their name on Monday if some things happen with Houston.
Yes. In addition, they could go to the playoffs if they tie, Baltimore that is, and Tennessee loses or ties. So Houston could win. Houston won, we're not in.
Okay.
Wait a minute, Johnny. Tennessee lost. Oh, looks like we're in. There you go. That's another scenario you get right there.
So
all right?
A Pittsburgh loss or tie, a Houston loss or tie, and a Tennessee loss or tie would all be very good news for Baltimore's playoff chances.
So long as they win and or tie. Baltimore, that is.
Very well.
Yeah. Just don't want to lose.
No losing for Baltimore. Winning's a good thing to help your playoff chances.
Now, Baltimore would also clinch a playoff berth if Houston lost, Indiana lost, and Oakland tied. Now we've brought Oakland into the mix now.
Once more, and Indy,
Oakland is in the mix now.
Indy's in the mix wasn't it Tennessee and Houston originally?
Yes. Now it's Houston, Indy, and Oakland. Houston seems to be a common denominator here.
Okay, so Pittsburgh losing's a good thing. Houston or Tennessee is a good thing. And then the third scenario is Houston losing, Indy losing, and Oakland losing or tying is also a good scenario.
Indy could also tie and you'd get in.
Indy could tie down in Tampa.
Yeah, they could tie us in Tampa. Got it. Now we're moving on. Buffalo, how do they get in, everybody? They're 9-3. As I noted, taking on Baltimore, Sunday, 1 o'clock, CBS. They clinch a playoff berth with a win plus an Oakland loss or tie, plus a Houston loss or tie, or an Indianapolis loss or tie. So every scenario begins with them having to win.
Okay.
So just start there. Buffalo has to win, Tom, for this to matter at all. Okay. So if they lose, none of this matters. None of this matters. But
then Baltimore's in business for the above.
Baltimore's loving life. They're probably going. Just look at it that way. But Buffalo, if you win, now you need Oakland to lose, and you need Houston to lose, and you need Indianapolis to lose. We'll see. Or tie. Any of those three teams.
But wasn't there an or before Indy there?
Let's see.
Was it Houston or was it?
It's Oakland loses or ties plus Houston loses. Not a tie.
Plus.
Oh,
double plus.
Double plus. Yeah, we've got a lot of pluses here, not ors. These are not and ors. These other things have to happen too. Okay.
All simultaneous results.
Kansas City 8-4 at New England. Another great game. Here we go. Can New England move the ball at all against that sorry Chiefs defense? Moreover, will the Chiefs be able to move the ball on New England's elite defense? We shall see. That's Sunday. That's the later game, 4 o'clock, CBS. Kansas City clinches the AFC West Division. So we're just done here. If they win and Oakland loses. That's the only scenario by which they can clinch the division and get to the playoffs.
Oakland's not looking very good. They're in a lot of these other parts of the
scenarios. They need a lot of things to happen for them, and that's what happens when you get blown out by the Jets. The Patriots themselves are 10-2. Although we're all starting to wonder whether the Patriots are a fake 10-2, because this is what they do. They draw you in. They give you hope that this is the year. Those bastards aren't going anywhere. That offense is pathetic. Do you know that Tom Brady's numbers in the last 6 weeks are equivalent to that of Mitch Trubisky? There you go.
Well,
that's something, huh?
We are living in a different time.
Yeah, so they are unable to move the ball because they don't have a legitimate number one receiver. They got a number two who's really good when you have a one, but they don't have a one. So number two's even slowed down. He's just a decent two now, and they don't have a tight end. They had the best one in all of football. So now those two losses are really glaring.
They would have won the Super Bowl if O.J. Howard went up there.
Did you see, I got to give Dan Orlovsky a lot of credit. He tweeted this out.
Stunning.
I know. He tweeted this out with a video he showed of Brady. He slowed it down frame by frame. This is actually well done. Brady giving a hand signal to one of his young receivers, and he's doing the gyration.
Was it the middle finger?
No, he's doing a signal at the line of scrimmage. He's pointing to something on the defense, and then he's doing his hands. Orlovsky pointed out that that's an audible at the line for him to run, and he names the route that he wanted the kid to run. And he's told, and then in the video he says why. He's like, well, this is what he sees. This is what Brady sees, and this is why he's changing the route. And he gives him clear directions here to do this. And he goes, now, roll the tape. And you want to know why Brady's throwing his helmet. Here you go. You roll the tape. Brady throws to the spot where he told the kid to run, and it's indeed going to be open because Brady's not dumb. He's seen a few things. Kid's nowhere to be found, and he's livid as they come off the field, and he ends up throwing his helmet and saying, I can't trust these bastards. They slowed it down in his lip. He can't trust his receivers. He's frustrated. It's beautiful. All right, now there's that. New England, 10-2, Sunday against the Chiefs. New England clinches a playoff spot if they win. That's it. They win.
Oh, boy.
They're in. If they do not win, they can tie. But then weird scenarios happen.
Okay.
If they tie, they need Pittsburgh to lose. Okay?
If they tie, okay.
So if they tie, they need Pittsburgh to lose to get in. If they tie, they also need Houston to lose or tie. Got it?
Well, Houston can't lose and tie, so that makes sense.
Right. They one or the other, right? But and then New England also would need Tennessee. This is all plus. They have to lose or tie. Or Houston could lose, plus Indianapolis could lose, and Oakland could tie, and New England would get in.
Well, I know that. They bring the income.
And we jump to the NFC.
All right, that was our first 200 level class right there.
Woo! Let's roll on Big River. The New Orleans Saints have clinched the NFC South Division. They're in. There is no scenario by which they're not in. They have won the division. It's over. Just so you know. That's it.
This should have had music the whole time. That's my fault.
That said, the Saints, who have already won the NFC South Division, are going to lose on Sunday, 1 o'clock, against the mighty San Francisco 49ers, who travel to the Bayou. 1 o'clock kickoff on Fox. San Francisco will clinch a playoff berth with a win or a Rams loss or tie. They'll also clinch, will the 49ers, if they tie the Saints and the Rams lose.
Okay.
That's it. That's all. That's all you need.
But they'd rather have the Rams win because it's Seattle versus L.A. Rams this weekend. So screw the playoff berth. They're in. If I'm a San Francisco fan, I don't need to be in the playoffs on Monday. I need to be in first place in the division on Monday.
And if I'm San Francisco, I want to go 14-2, and I'm ready to rock and roll for
14-2 and go down to Dallas.
Yeah.
Well, you can because at least they're playing Week 17 heads up against Seattle.
That's true. All right, here we go. The Seattle Seahawks, aforementioned, win every close game they play. Luckiest team in the league. Good, but lucky. They're at the Rams, as Tom noted. 7-5 Rams, who took advantage of a terrible secondary in Arizona. I don't put stock in that win, but it is a win. It moves to 7-5 to the Rams. Sunday, 8:20. That's your night game, Eastern Time, NBC. Seattle clinches a playoff berth with a win. That's it. That's all. We're done. The NFC is easy.
Boy. We got to get to home field scenarios. These things are too easy these days. Although the NFC is like that. It's very top-heavy.
The scenarios get dicier after this week. We will know more. And next week on Wednesday, we will once again do this very thing.
Well, I know that. They bring the income.
In truth, it's an elaborate way for us to be able to incorporate the music you hear behind me and Lou Holtz in the same segment. And it's why it's guaranteed to happen again next Wednesday.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Tallahassee Sports Monster.
You're on your way to pick up your daughter from her first high school dance. As you pull away, it starts to rain. Hard. Thankfully, you have a new set of premium Trico wiper blades. Engineered for over 100 years to perform in any weather condition. With Trico's full line of premium beam blades, it also means you've got a clear line of sight for her first kiss, too. Hey, buddy. Head to your local auto parts retailer for a set of premium Trico wiper blades. Trico, seeing you through.
I really need a new refrigerator, and I want to get the best deal. But there are so many options, I don't know which one to choose. I wish there was a way to make this simpler.
With so many choices, a major appliance purchase like this can be overwhelming. The City of Tallahassee helps make the choice simple by offering rebates on Energy Star appliances. You can receive up to $300 in rebates on refrigerators, clothes washers, and more. Are you thinking about purchasing and installing a smart thermostat to help minimize your home energy costs? With the city's rebates, you can get up to $100 off eligible options. Stack your savings this holiday season by coupling in-store deals with rebates from the City of Tallahassee. Visit talgov.com/YOU. That's talgov.com/YOU. Or call 850-891-4968 to learn more. That's 850-891-4968.
Lane's Medical Shop has all of your home medical needs. They carry home oxygen, hospital beds, nebulizers, walkers, wheelchairs, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and all sleep apnea supplies. Lane's also has a weight loss clinic in-house, no appointment necessary, including B12 injections and any prescriptions necessary with the lowest prices around, and delivers to Tallahassee and South Georgia. Located only 40 miles from Tallahassee, go see Blake today, 210 West Main Street, Colquitt, Georgia, 229-758-9111.
AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping has been a Tallahassee staple for over 35 years. But did you know they now offer holiday lighting? AAA holiday lighting services include design consultation, setup, and takedown maintenance and lighting storage. Call them today for all your outdoor holiday lighting needs. 850-385-3319 or visit them online at AAATreeExperts.net. AAA Tree Experts and Landscaping, and now holiday lighting.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
This is the Dan Levitar Show on ESPN Radio.
Broadway Joe.
Joe Namath is in the Hall of Fame. You've been useless this first hour.
Give you the snake, Eddie Stabler.
You've given me nothing. You are a monkey who hits its cymbals on a Key West street when it falls off of its owner's shoulder. Like you are just playing the hits in terms of, let me be Maximum Stugotz today. Broadway Joe.
I didn't ask for any of it.
You asked for all of it. You asked at every turn for more money. I was in the negotiations. You asked for everything. But you keep saying I didn't ask for any of this. Every last bit of it you asked for. You asked for a private plane.
I did. They're getting their money's worth today.
You asked for all of it. All of it was asked for, and then it was given to you, and then you asked for more. You kept making bigger asks, and they kept giving you more, and then you asked for more. Stop saying I didn't ask for any of this. You asked for more than it was humanly sane.
The Dan Levitar Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Balls McWednesday, brought to you by Hobbit American Grill. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving good food to good friends for good times. Online at myhobbitonline.com.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today, and a fine Balls McWednesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. If you do miss something, go back, get caught up at your leisure. As we'll post it, all 3 hours of it, in fact, both to iTunes and in our own audio vault. Man, thanks for downloading the show, guys. The podcast has never done better. The live listens are doing great with the stream there. We really do appreciate you supporting us. It means a lot, and I don't know if I say thank you enough. I try to remember to do that, but we got a glimpse at some numbers today, and again, we're just doing gangbusters. So
those are the headlines numbers too, that you heard.
Yeah, we've done. Yeah, it's. I'm very, very pleased. Seminole Headlines does well. Really, all the local shows on this network do exceptionally well, and we couldn't obviously do any of that without the support of the listeners. And so I'm saying thank you right here at the top. You want to email, you can, jcs at 979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's at jcameronshow. The WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Hello, YouTubers, Periscopers. Hope this finds you doing well. It should. How about that, right? Walk outside in the 30s. You get 50s and low 60s in the afternoon. Forget about it. All these shows ought to be outside right now. We ought to be porters on a deck. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
World needs more porters.
Yeah, absolutely. Good times. And I would also say that it's a good time to remind all of you guys about the bowling tournament. Thanks to many of you who have already signed up, and that's why I'm actually reiterating this. It's important. I think they're going to fill up, but judging by the early returns here, if you go to our webpage, ESPNTallahassee.com, you'll see that the sign-up page, big, bold, front and center, front page there, Guardian Ad Litem symbol, bowling tournament, all that. Click on it and sign your team up of 4. You're going to want to get that in. Now, we did expand the lanes this year at Capital Lanes. Our friends at Tri-Eagle sponsoring the event. We certainly appreciate their support. But it's a bigger event this year, but it's going to fill up pretty quickly. And so we'd like to get at least 20 teams, maybe more. We'll see if there's room for that. But first we got to fill that 20, and already I think 7 to 8 have been filled in like 2 days that we've been talking about.
Well, and do the math in your own mind, folks, if you want to have your faith in humanity restored, especially in a divided time we live in.
Sure.
If everybody who attends, and you have 20 lanes worth of teams, and there's 4 people on a team, and everybody who's part of this tournament brings at minimum 2 toys for a kid that would go without on Christmas Day. I mean, come on. It adds up really quickly, and that's to say nothing of the people who bring more than that, the people who stop by the station who drop off. It's a really heartwarming event. It's one of my favorite nights of the year because it's not about anybody but people who are in need. So please, if you're thinking about it this year and you've been deciding last couple of years, maybe I'll give it to somebody else. No, it's your time now. Come on. ESPNTallahassee.com.
Oh, we have a blast every year. So get signed up. Make that happen. And again, Tom alluded to it, but yep, people have already stopped by and gave gifts. If you can't, I get it. Sometimes, I mean, the holiday season is very busy. A lot of people travel. I understand all that. The event is December the 20th, and it may very well be that you're not in town, but you still want to help out. And I always appreciate that. We get a lot of people that do email us or tweet at me or get in contact us with it, call the station, whatever it might be, to ask, hey, look, I can't be there. I can't bowl. I don't like bowling. I'm not going to bowl, but I love what you guys are doing, and I want to help out some way, somehow. How can I do that? And you don't have to wait for the night of the event to do that. In fact, just drop off the toys here, 2 wrap presents, if you will, 2 new presents for kids.
In their original casing, no wrapping paper.
You don't have to do wrapping paper. Yeah,
they're going to open it before the kids get it, so don't bother.
Yeah, so there's all that, but you can also give gift cards for the older kids, and I think in a lot of cases they prefer a gift card. So we already have literally hundreds of dollars that have been dropped off in gift cards. So it's amazing. Just come by the station off of Capitol Circle, right there across from Publix and Lowe's.
Behind the Canopy Road.
You can find us. Just say it into Siri. It'll tell you where we are, I think. Have you ever done that?
Hey, Siri, where's Jeff?
All right, so no football night. No, it's a take it easy, kind of a hockey night.
I wish. Last night's game was really good. I had to tape the Knowles game, different parts, because the Lightning game in the third and overtime was great. But Wednesday, Jeff, they only play a couple of games. It's a rivalry.
You know how it
you
pisses
lament
me
Wednesdays.
Off. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The NHL needs to figure out what the hell they're doing. 15 tomorrow, 2 today. Okay. But that said, good for you for watching. Way to go, Bolts. I, however, was glued to our basketball team. It's amazing with this team over the years. I have figured out the ones pretty early on in the year that I'm going to fall in love with, and the ones that are going to annoy me, or the ones that are going to fall somewhere in between and leave me somewhat in limbo and all that. This team, I love them. I love them. They were clearly without their legs last night. Everybody could see that. They were exhausted. 3 games in 5 days. It's a lot of travel. And they came out pretty flat-footed, I thought. But, man, the effort is there, and they fight back. This is a team that could be getting blown out pretty early on in the second half. Instead, they come out at the break, and they start hitting threes, and they're up in your grill, and they contest everything, and they fight. They go through stretches where they struggle to score, which is kind of the bane of their existence right now. But when you're without your legs on the road, that's the other thing. I mean, Indiana could not miss for a stretch there, even when well guarded. They're making threes from the parking lot, down from their hip, ridiculous end of shot clock threes that are falling. Okay, you're going to lose. This is not your night, boys. Got it. We're going to lose the game. But you fight back and get that to 4 for prolonged stretches and put a real fear in that team on their own home floor. That shows me there is a lot of want to, there's a lot of grit, a lot of toughness, both physically and mentally, to this bunch. And they are a work in progress. We're going to be watching this for the rest of the year, hopefully seeing a much more consistent offense. But I like this team an awful lot. They lose last night going away. That's all right. I learned something good about them.
2 things I learned last night that I didn't realize before tip-off. Number 1, we were playing in the national championship game with the way that atmosphere was. Holy crap. That is a starved fan base.
Yeah.
Number 2, I didn't realize Devante Green is a future 10-time all-first-team NBA player.
Unbelievable, right?
I mean, everything about his offensive game last night was from the professional ranks traveling down to college for just over 30 minutes of play. He's coming off the bench for 30 points. He's doing reverse lay-ins, hanging in the air for 4 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
3-pointers from all angles, creating his own shots, moves off the dribble that, again, are only reserved for the best handles in the professional level.
30 points for Devante Green.
That's a night of his life. And if he could do that again and again, that dude's going to go top 10. We'll see. But it was something to behold. It wasn't one of those, oh, this kid's really not that good. He's getting lucky tonight. The calls are going his way. Jesus, the things he was able to create for himself. Insane.
Yeah, too many long stretches. When a guy's having a night like that and really doing what he can and you're turning the ball over a little bit here, and Devante Green's having that kind of a night, getting in rhythm, then you're in real trouble. And right off the bat, you could see that. And we did go through a very long stretch of time. I know at one point, I think it was 6 full minutes of game time we didn't score a basket.
First half, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, when that happens, you're going to get beat. It's sometimes you don't have to analyze. You don't have to dissect too much. Kid went off, played really well at home. They were in it. They wanted to play that game. They were up for it. We looked tired. Went through some struggles there offensively for a stretch. Okay.
Well, the thing is, to me, the frustrating part of the second half when you get it down to 3 at one point, but you're right, it's usually between 4 and 6 for the balance of the first 10 minutes of the second half. We traveled how many times? I mean, you don't even get shots off on these turnovers.
Yeah.
And I fully understand 3 games, 5 days, the travel schedule. And I fully understand that this is a group still trying to find itself offensively in the half court. They don't even know what the rotations are going to be. I mean, the way the game started last night, I said, wow, look at this. Dom's going to be a big piece of the puzzle tonight. Not really.
Not really, yeah.
Play the first couple of minutes, and then comes Balsa, and Balsa's gone, and the next thing you know, we're playing small the whole way. So they're trying to figure out who they are. But the frustrating part to me was there were chances to go crack and take the lead, right?
Yeah, and what would that have done, right?
It would have done a lot. I mean, what that building was already feeling, the vacuum effect would have been exponentially increased by us taking the lead, and maybe it would have given us the shot in the arm to finish the job. We just could never quite get there.
Also, the officials that are, dare I say, they have some girlish or childlike sensibilities, is probably the way I should have said it instead of girlish, childlike. You're going to give Leonard Hamilton a technical on that? Really? That's what we're doing?
Yeah, their guy runs out inside the three-point line.
Yeah.
We got some Indiana stuff going on here.
That was something.
What is that?
That was something. I don't know. I'm not going to spend too much
time.
Not
even TV Teddy would make that kind of a technical call.
It was insane. He didn't like that. He thought Leonard was showing him up by smiling.
And then you got the freshman kid flexing every time he finishes around the rim. But sure, okay, Leonard laughing and saying that that's the fastest 5-second call I've ever seen, which it was about 3.5 seconds.
I mean, good Christ. We should just move on. I'll get angry again. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9
Midwestern
ESPN Radio.
Stuff.
Yeah, that was dicey.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Where you need to be, and we give you the options.
On Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive. Call 656-8453. Online at sellerstile.com.
The Florida State basketball team has one of the best records in the nation at home the last 3 years. The Tucker Center is a house of horrors for opponents. Don't miss the best ticket in town, the ACC Pack. Come see the nation's best basketball right here in Tallahassee as the Noles host North Carolina, Virginia, Louisville, Syracuse, Notre Dame, Miami, and more inside the Tucker Center. College basketball is taking the capital by storm. Don't get left out. Purchase your ACC Pack today. Call 888-FSU-NOLE or visit Seminoles.com today.
Just like football, when it comes to the court of law, you're going to need a solid defense. I'm Michael D. Blank, attorney with the Law Office of Jose Fernandez in Tallahassee. At the Law Office of Jose Fernandez, there is never an upfront fee, and if we don't recover, then you don't pay anything. Our team is dedicated to handling all types of accident, injury, negligence, malpractice, and wrongful death cases. If you're unable to come to us, we can come to you day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, for your free consultation today. The Law Office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid until you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. GRFinjury.com. Go Noles.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's already starting, the clamoring for a football game to be on tonight. That's not. It just sucks, where you get in that mode where you're so used to it, and this is the first week without it in a while. Where you're like, oh, I got nothing.
You really were all in on that action, huh?
I like to gamble, Tom, and there are games every day of the week, so they cry out, hey, let's have some fun, Jeff. And I say, let's. And then we enjoy some action.
See, tonight is an opportunity for me to catch up on Watchmen. I am 3 episodes behind.
Phenomenal.
I did catch one yesterday.
You're going to be wowed.
Well, it's the one that we already talked about with the problem.
Yeah.
But Jamie had yet to see that. And
So you go ahead and watch. I'll take it in here.
Well, it wasn't that. It wasn't Game of Thrones level.
No.
But she had missed it when she was on a trip. So we are now caught up as a team. I had waited for her, and now we can proceed forward with the, I guess, the dream where the lady takes the pills.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, don't ruin it for anybody. I think people are just now getting on board. They're starting to.
Okay.
They're like, oh, okay.
That's vague enough that.
Yeah. No, but tonight, I'm kind of like, oh, geez, man. I was really looking forward to going home, watching some football. But I can watch the Hero World Challenge, catch a little golf down in the Bahamas. That's a loaded field of great players. Gary Woodland had himself a day.
Oh, did he really?
He's the leader right now, 5 under. He's playing.
Good for Gary.
Yeah, I think Gary took it off a little easy after that U.S. Open win, and then now he's time to refocus.
Gary looks like the type who would enjoy breaking through and taking home a big trophy.
Yeah, I saw a stat today, and we'll move quickly from the golf because this is certainly not the time. Jordan Spieth from 2014 to 2017 had 42 top 10s. Obviously, 2015 is one of the greatest seasons in the history of golf. Since that time, I think since that 2017, which is about to be 2020, he's had 10. So he went from 42 to 10. Tough times.
Tougher time if you declared him as God himself.
Oh, well, that was our
took
man.
home a green jacket.
SVP did exactly that. No, it's crazy, the statistics. It's he can't hit the ball. Like he lost. He had the yips with putting forever. Then he got his putting back, and now he can't hit the ball. He's like one of the worst in ball striking on tour this last year. I have no idea where it's going.
Well, he's one of the great scramblers of all time for a short window of time. Because honestly, even when he was winning those first few tournaments, he wasn't exactly driving the ball 350 and putting it down the middle every time.
It wasn't length, but the 2015 season, the one that is historically great, he was top 10 in every meaningful category. He couldn't do no wrong. Now, pre and post, you're right. But that year, whatever locked in, it was magical, and it's gone. And it's gone. And that's golf, I guess, in a nutshell.
How about this for Brooks Koepka? Over, under, 2.5 top 10s in majors.
Oh, wow. So you say if you're going over, you're going 3 of the 4, he's going to have top 10 finishes. I'll say
Yep.
Under.
Under? Okay.
Yeah.
So you think the mystique is gone for him?
Well, I also think he was locked in a way that was historically great. I don't think that you can sustain that unless you're Tiger Woods, and nobody historically has been, save for Jack in reverse, No, I don't. And there's enough wrong with Brooks's game that if something goes a little wayward, he's not, it's not like he's not a great putter. So
no, I think that's the only thing that's wrong with his game, though. He's a really good scrambler, an underappreciated scrambler.
Yeah, well, he's mentally as tough as they come.
He's more accurate on courses that require it. He clearly has a different mode where he can say, all right, I'll be like VJ in the early 2000s.
I just need to lock in here and just hit my cut fade.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is he could go in the mode with VJ in the old days where it's like, I don't care where it goes. It's going to be close to the hole.
Hit as far as you can, yeah.
But then there's another mode that says, well, I can win at Bethpage.
Yeah. No, I need to keep it between the lines now. Yeah, he's getting hurt too much, for one thing. I need that to stop.
That's the number one concern to me.
He's
that
getting,
knee.
He's getting hurt too much, and, for the same reasons that you bitch about all the time, and you're right to. You notice Rory's getting leaner and healthier. Tiger's getting leaner and healthier. All the guys get big, get hurt. And Brooks can't stay out of the gym. So, look, man, is it about looking in the mirror, or do we want to win out here?
Well, what was interesting to me, though, is he lost weight before the Masters.
He did, but it was for a photo
But
shoot.
he put it back on.
Of course he did. Yeah,
He should have more photo shoots. That way he'll be a little bit leaner.
He needs to stop worrying about how he looks and just be limber and go play golf. You're a good-looking guy. It's going to be okay. You don't need to look like you're in the WWE, my man. What are we doing? I don't care. Don't bench 500 pounds. You're a golfer. Just the weight, the torque, all the stuff, it's weird, and you would think guys would have learned from Tiger screwing up his body over and over again, right? The damage that's done. Rory had that brief window, too, where he was yoked, and you're like, what are you doing?
That's not how he got there.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about Brooks is when he got there, that's how he looked. It's not like he was lean and mean like he was at Florida State. Like, you see the photos of him at Florida State, he looks like a normal golfer.
Yeah.
In good shape, but I'm not crazy.
Right.
But he arrived to prominence with the bulk.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, I just, it's probably not sustainable, and we're seeing him get hurt. Now, I don't know if he's getting hurt because of it, but there seems to be enough anecdotal evidence out there that
you don't need to play the President's Cup. Don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal.
I mean, I think he wanted to play it, and moreover, whether it's the President's Cup or any tournament, you don't need to be constantly hurt. And he's had these injuries where you're kind of like, man, let's take it easy. We
just need to get right for Whistling Straits. I think that's an interesting course choice for the Ryder Cup.
You're not in love with it.
That's not quite a wide open track.
You're not in love with it. I know. Well, anyhow, so no football tonight. We do just have to wait one more day because you'll get Cowboys-Bears, which, by the way, is certainly no lock for the Cowboys at this point. Aren't they the Bears? I mean, the same sort of middling, average-ass team that and they're better at quarterback, Dallas is.
Yeah, they have much more offensive firepower.
Yeah.
Much more.
Yeah. They just
Cooper, Zeke, Michael Gallup.
Just look at how they don't score anymore. I mean,
of late, yes.
They don't. They something's wrong. Dak's not playing well at all, first of all. And half the time lately, and half the time, they're not blocking the way they did for Zeke. So you're not seeing this sort of dominant running game which sets everything up. I don't know, man. They're in trouble. I mean, they're lucky they're in that division because it's absurd, but do you realize, I think I saw this correctly, Tom, and it's really, again, I bring this up quite a bit. Maybe I shouldn't because I don't know how much anybody else cares. But I've never liked this antiquated nonsense that a sub-500 team could be hosting a team that's 13-3 or 14-2. They could have to travel. We saw it happen to Green Bay with New Orleans and all that. I mean, Seattle with New Orleans.
That's correct.
All those years ago.
Marshawn Lynch did it to him.
Yeah. The Cowboys, let's say the Cowboys lose and then lose again. And they're 6-8. As long as they when's that game against Philadelphia?
Week 16, I think.
If they beat Philadelphia, it won't matter.
Yeah.
They'll win the division and they could be sub-500.
Yeah, because of the undefeated division record. The one thing I will say, I guess they're a little unlucky if you just blindly look without watching the games. Point differential is a plus 74.
Yeah. It
That's
started
crazy.
the year really well. I mean, I think that's the lesson here.
You got Green Bay over in the north at a plus 34, 9-3. You've got Seattle, and that's well documented what they do.
Ridiculous.
Talked about it on the Scuttle today. They're plus 36 in the differential. They're 8 games over 500. The hell is that?
All they do is play one-score games and win all of them. Now, they got a great quarterback. That helps. They're also the luckiest team in the league.
You know the great tragedy, if we can use that word in the NFL standings? The 4-8 Los Angeles Chargers are plus 3. In the point differential.
Yeah, no. All they do is play one-score games and never win them.
The 2-minute warning is like the guillotine dropping over their head.
This last one, imagine being Phillip Rivers. I mean, there it is. You tie it up with whatever seconds to go. There's one play left. They throw a bomb, and it's interference. They set up the field goal.
You see that call?
It was interference, but I wouldn't have called it. No. Now, see, you're Mr. Call it no matter what. If you call it earlier in the game, you got to call it late. It was definitely interference.
I wouldn't call that in the first quarter.
Oh, it was interference. You can't cut off a man like that. You can't.
If you can get in front of him to the ball.
But he didn't. And he knew it. I just would not have called it. I would not have called it. That's one of those times where I'm official going, I'm not bailing your asses out. Let's go to overtime. They would have been mad at me. You would have had to challenge. Hey, by the way, so the Cowboys are a lark, though. That plus number, remember, they started the year by pounding the Giants, Washington, and the Dolphins back to back to back. Then they start playing real teams. They lose to the Saints. They lose to the Packers. They lost to the damn Jets.
That is the one right there.
Yeah, that'll hurt your feelings. Then they pounded the sorry-ass Eagles, who just lost to the Dolphins. Then they pounded the sorry-ass Giants, who lose to everybody except the Bucs. They lost when they played the Vikings. Tough game, but they lost. Then they pounded the sorry Detroit Lions, and then they lost to the Patriots and the Bills. They don't have a meaningful win.
Not one meaningful win?
No. Who have they beat that's any good? In fact, they haven't beaten anybody who's any good.
So looking at that, I'd say, and you're going to laugh, but allow me to finish, that Lions win was a good one because they pounded them into the dirt, and that was a Lions team that wasn't quite as banged up as it is now. Right?
Okay, I mean, I'll give you a 35-27 win against the Lions. I'm not going to qualify it as a good win.
I think it's a good win.
The Lions are going to win 3 games. It's not a good win. You don't get credit for that. They don't have a win. They don't have a win over a good team. They've beaten the Giants, the Redskins, the Dolphins, the Eagles, who are sub 500 and just lost to the Dolphins, the Giants, and the Lions. That's it. The good teams they've played, Patriots lost, Bills lost, Vikings lost, Packers lost, Saints lost, and throw in a loss to the Jets. No, they're a farce. That's why Homeboy's getting fired.
Oh, but their standard for this season
yeah.
was going to be NFC Championship or Super Bowl game.
Yeah, no, he was going to get fired either way, but now now you have overwhelming evidence. You can't beat anybody who's over 500 or even 500. I mean, they just don't. No, they started out the year, and Dak was having a huge season and was looking good. He's still not terrible, don't get me wrong. He's just not playing well lately, and that certainly coincides with the fact that they played the Patriots and the Bills back-to-back. Both those teams have very good defenses. So I get that, but he hadn't played well there in those 2 games, and so those numbers are beginning to drop.
I feel like the Lions are they're a feisty 3-8-1 team. No, I mean honestly, they got a 4-point loss to the Chiefs. That game was psycho.
We certainly know what they were.
1-point loss to the Packers, which was a travesty on Monday night. The rulings in that game to get the Packers the win.
Early in the year, they got screwed. Since then, they're awful, and they've also lost their starting quarterback. So the Cowboys beat them without.
Yeah,
starting quarterback. Who was that guy making his first start?
Blau,
like
Bluff,
Blau or whatever his name is. Yeah. So I'm not giving you. I'm not. We can't. You can't work Detroit into this good win category. It was Blau making his first. No, or no, it wasn't Blau. That was
when the Cowboys played him. It was Driscoll.
It was Driscoll. Even just as bad or worse.
Hey, man, Driscoll threw for 2 scores in that game, ran for 51 yards and a touchdown.
That's making my point about the Cowboys. But here's the deal. It won't matter because they're probably going to win the damn division and do so with 7 or 8 wins. And some poor bastard is going to have to, with like 12 or 13 wins, significantly better wins on their schedule than anything Dallas has.
Yeah, it's going to be the loser of the West.
Yeah.
It's going to be Seattle or San Francisco, yeah.
Take it on down the road to Dallas. Oh, that's brutal. It's just antiquated. You need not do that. If somebody, in theory, somebody could go 15-1 and have to travel.
Oh, in theory.
Indeed. It can happen. You got to have somebody go 13-3 in all likelihood and do it.
It would happen to I don't know,
us,
a miracle season for the Bills because the Patriots go 16-0 and they split the season series.
They got to travel and they lose on the road by a field goal.
They go to Jacksonville and it's like 110 unseasonably hot.
Yeah, or it would be a Southern team having to go to a winter destination.
Yep.
Really? This is what we got to do?
Great,
here?
I got to we get to play the 6-10 Bears who somehow win their freaking division and it's -20.
Yeah. That's why I don't
9-6 final. We lose. We're done.
It's ridiculous. But you get Cowboys, Bears Thursday, and I'm really tempted to take a look at the Bears there. But then the slate is awesome because if you want to have fun, watch that Bills-Ravens game.
That's yes.
That Bills-Ravens game, you can get incredible odds on the Bills with that defense.
I want to see what the weather looks like. Play the totals. But this is a game that has caught my interest, and it only was underscored when the Bills did what they did to Dallas on Thanksgiving Day.
You know, the Dolphins are getting 7.5 against the Jets.
Where is that game?
It's in New York.
They're a different team up there. The Jets, they'll surprise you. They
Well,
beat the tar out of the Raiders, and nobody expected that Cowboys result.
but they did just lose to Cincinnati.
Different team at home. Different team at home.
Oh, man. That's
The Jets are in a position where, if we're going anywhere where there's any other, screw this week. But then they come back home. All right, let's give it a go. Because they're out of it.
Yeah, they are out of it.
We've seen that with the Bucs. The Bucs, I mean, we've had how many examples? Well, all of them pretty much in the last 10 years. Every season you could choose from. There are certain weeks you could tell. They decided, let's rise up and play this week. We're capable of being an 8-8 team, but we've already lost too many close games, so screw it. But we'll get up for one every 3 weeks or so. We'll get one for every other week.
Yeah. Usually you can lock in on when that's going to happen if it's your team. But if it's somebody else's sorry team, you don't really know. That's why you got to go and look at their local papers and all that stuff, those Twitter guys that follow them, because they'll predict it. They're like, this is a good matchup for them for whatever reason. You know, they can't block their ends or whatever it is.
The Jets have done it with the Patriots. They didn't finish the job in a game, but there have been a couple of times in the last few years where they're at MetLife, and it's third quarter. It's a close game. You're going, what the hell's going on here?
Well, that's like the Bills in general. Like, if you think about the Bills with this game against Baltimore, but also another one against New England, they had New England in that game. It was a block punt. That's New England didn't move the ball at all. There was like a trick play and a block punt, something really weird there,
and a Brady end zone interception for the ages.
Yeah. So Bills are weird. Like the Bills are the team nobody wants to play in the playoffs. You're like, geez, got to play these guys.
They are
really defend.
Yeah, it's like, all right, what's our scouting report for this team? And it's like, they're 4-3 and they do this on offense. Irregular, just irregular on offense.
Just a weird team.
Yeah, they're just weird.
Hey, one thing out there, I saw some reports today, and I hope it happens. I haven't paid close attention to this. It would be noon on December the 27th. That is a Friday, but there is a pairing with Florida State going to the Military Bowl in Annapolis, Maryland. Consider me there.
What has to happen for that? Because as I understand it, the SEC championship game can put dominoes in motion for where we land. If Georgia were to lose, that places them in an area where the ACC either climbs up the pecking order or falls down the pecking order a certain way.
Well, the ACC 7th to 9th place team goes into the Military Bowl in Annapolis. So 7th or 8th or 9th. And what are we right now? We're in that category. Right?
Oh, we're somewhere in there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm not looking. I refuse. They don't get my click, the ACC standings page.
And we would take on this particular projection had them playing Navy, whom we'd lose to. I don't think we'd have a lot of interest in being in the cold weather there of Annapolis against a military school that will play really
probably
disciplined.
A lot of guys who are thinking about their next destination.
Yeah,
That's the hard part for me.
It's all with bowls in general, yeah. Who wants to be here, who doesn't?
I don't mean the pros. I mean transfer portal, going to undergrad somewhere else. That is my biggest fear. It's not even about the recruiting classes, about what good kids do we have right now. They're like, you know what?
Here's what I'll say. And Corey and I I really didn't argue with him about it, but I'm going to bring it up now because he's not here to defend himself. He was of the mindset that whomever they bring in as a coach, so let's say it's Norvell, is a huge upgrade, will bring competence, etc. Okay, fair enough. I'm going to assume that as well. But he then took that leap, which is to say, well, Florida State can be pretty good again, win 8-9 games in 2 years, a year or two. The evidence that's mounting is that with the early signing periods, teams that fire coaches, it's a lost year. You're going to lose a year because of the attrition, because you're not really going to be able, in most cases, to put much together of a class. And even some of the kids you sign that make it look like it was a good class are still out there because the other schools have had the pick of the litter and they don't like your particular 4-star brand. You could take that elsewhere because you've got issues. You've got problems. We're taking all the other guys.
Yeah.
So maybe you're able to prop it up in terms of a class ranking, but in truth, there's too much attrition. Now, if you throw in the mix with the rules about transfer portal and how liberal the NCAA has been and allowances, right? People just being able to transfer whenever they.
They're supposed to tighten it up, but in this case, if I was impartial,
I'd say, coaches in 5 years, 4 years.
Come on, if this is not the purpose for it, what is?
If you let half the guys that transferred last year transfer, you got to let this team do it. My guess is there's going to be a ton of people leaving this program. And why wouldn't they?
You stay, Dante Lucas. You stay right where you are.
Well, we need him to, but I'm telling you right now, I can't imagine that there are too many guys that look at this situation as healthy and want to stick it out. So I'm going to guess that we're going to lose a ton in the transfer portal. The class is going to be a mess because that's what happens when you fire a coach in the middle of a season.
Mm-hmm. I think what we need to do is Memphis Conference Championship game this weekend. If they have any redshirt juniors who are set to graduate,
come on down, baby.
I don't know.
Come on down.
Maybe it's a coincidence that they complete their undergrad studies and they come down to Tallahassee. But if they're good, look for when they do the starting lineups. Look for RSJR.
I'm gonna comment further on this topic when we come back. So I've got some thoughts about that, by the way, in terms of what we can do to try to expedite the process of a rebuild, because this is a rebuild now with a new coach, which means, damn it, I hate to ruin next year's season before we even see the schedule, but I mean the times and all that. Yeah, we're not going to be good at all.
That West Virginia game is going to be interesting.
We're going to lose that game. And we'll probably lose to Boise on the road. We'll be there, though. That'll be fun. So get ready, buddy. Get ready for another sorry-ass year.
Can we switch topics in the offseason to something else?
I'm here for the rebuild. I'm down in the muck. Let's go. Let's get to rebuilding.
I've been through this twice, man. I need to do it another.
You got no choice. We moved on.
We had a lost decade.
Yeah,
we had these past 2 years. Jesus.
You got no choice, buddy. Get down in the muck. So when this show concludes, we'll turn it on over to Front Row Knowles. I'm eager to listen to what the boys have to say, get their take on the latest in the coaching search, if anything. It's interesting on that note. We were just talking a moment ago, you and I, about getting down in the muck is what I said. It's going to be about the rebuild, and nobody wants to hear that, but that's the stark reality. We don't have a lot of talent on this team. We still can't block. We'll see if Sims is the real deal quarterback. I have high hope if he comes here. That hasn't wavered, has it? I haven't checked lately.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, listen, if the new guy, I just don't even know who our coordinator is going to be.
Of course not.
Because Derek King, there's a decent chance he might come here if Kendall stays here and the offensive line doesn't just all decide to go somewhere else.
One thing that, it's funny, these rumors with all these jobs that are now coming available. And throw into the mix, by the way, because this affects things too, that there will be probably 6. We just had one already yesterday, Carolina firing Rivera. 7 openings in the NFL. So somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 or 7 openings in the NFL. Some of the guys in college have aspirations of going to the NFL. So, that affects some things. We know now that the USC job's not going to Franklin. So, okay. I'm kind of just curious what happens with our coordinators, because it is tied to whoever we hire as a coach. But, are you going to stay with Briles? Because he's now linked to a rumor, and a consistent one at that more than one person I've talked to has posited out there, and they have no reason to lie because it's not a program they care about, but they're tied into the people who would know these sorts of things, that Arkansas is likely going to try to get Lane Kiffin, and that Lane Kiffin would make an attempt to hire Briles as his OC, and they'd go to Arkansas. And that seems to be a pretty prominent rumor right now that that's going on. So all of a sudden, you know.
There goes Clemens.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. It's just a mess.
Well, there are other good coaches out there.
I know.
And
just, for continuity purposes.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, this is why.
I know he screwed up a couple camps back-to-back in terms of performance, but poor James. You kidding me? Like, you get on campus and it's like, okay, I can get my bearings, but you're starting James.
What? Yeah, what's going on here?
What?
Yeah. And I'm not going to cater anything to what you do.
And I wanted you, remember that thing I told you about hosting some recruits? Forget that. They're not coming, James. Don't worry about it. Well, that's strange, Coach. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'll catch you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then you see him on a plane.
Yeah, he's
in College
gone.
Station.
Dropping 7 points on LSU. Good times.
And here comes Willie. He's like, well, James, I got to be honest. DeAndre, he's just he's screwing up behind the scenes. You're probably going to be the leader of this team 6 months later.
DeAndre's our guy.
Right, yeah.
So what you do is you obviously we all wait collectively for the announcement of who the hire is. At this point, I don't know that it's going to be a huge name. Don't know that it's not. I can tell you that I do not believe at all, especially that we got more evidence last night, yesterday afternoon, that it's Bob Stoops. No, it's not. It's not Bob Stoops. It's not Bob Stoops. Stop that. But I guess if there's room for a splash, it would be James Franklin. You could try to get James Franklin. I don't know why he would leave Penn State for Florida State right now, but if the word is accurate that he is unhappy there, then maybe that's why.
Yeah, but did we ever kick the tires on the 2 coordinators at Clemson? Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I don't think we have, and I'm not against it, but I think they are. Because that is something that was quoted in the Democrat article, which was that they thought they needed an experienced head coach that had been a head coach that had run an operation. So that immediately excluded the 2 assistants, 3 assistants for that matter, if you want to look at it entirely at the Clemson staff. So I don't think they're candidates.
Would you throw $5 million at Brady over at LSU and just take a chance?
Oh, the 28-year-old?
Yes.
No.
No? You wouldn't take a chance, huh?
No. Okay. No. He's not had the – look, we're not set up functionally just yet.
Mm-hmm.
Having to learn on the job, probably not a good idea.
Would you throw $2 million at him to become the offensive coordinator?
Yes.
If Kendall took off?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep,
2.5?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if you're bringing in Mike Norvell and you're only paying him 5. Yeah. Come on. Let's go. In fact, you need to do that. I would do that. I would.
Has Muschamp been fired yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I don't know that he will be, but certainly feels like he's going to be.
What a Muschamp Brady offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. I guess I got those flipped in terms of the respectives.
Yeah.
But would those two make you feel more comfortable with Norvell at the helm?
I know we'd played some defense if my man Muschamp was here. I don't love
He probably
him.
wouldn't work for a first-time Power 5 head coach, though, would he? That probably doesn't look right.
Well, if you keep getting fired, at some point you got to take whatever job you can get. I mean, he keeps getting fired.
But he would recruit. It would take about a year for it to get going.
He would recruit. It's very important that we remember what it takes to recruit, what it takes to recruit at an elite level. The way that Georgia currently is, certainly the way that Clemson is. They're about to sign the greatest class in their school's history, which is most unfortunate because the gap widens. But let's just hope that the number one quarterback they sign is not as good as Trevor freaking Lawrence, who turned out to be as good as Deshaun Watson, which is ridiculous. But anyhow, all right, moving on.
He's got more throws than Deshaun, that's for sure.
Yeah, surely they can't get that fortunate again, right? Back-to-back starting NFL quarterbacks as their.
So I was watching the South Carolina Clemson game with great interest, and in the first half, Lawrence misses 2 absolute wide-open touchdown throws over the middle of the field, 10 to 15 yards, slant routes.
Yeah.
I mean, and he airmails them.
And you're like, what are you doing?
After the second one, he throws the most beautiful corner route touchdown I've seen in college.
He throws that route really well.
And we've had every quarterback we had under Jimbo here could throw that ball. But the way he dropped it in on the back pylon off a corner, not a fade, a corner route.
Yep.
I was just like, well, shoot. I mean, what do you do with that if you're a coach? He just airmails 2 wide open dudes for touchdowns, but you can't be mad at him because he gives you one of the most beautiful throws you'll ever see on a college football field in your life.
He does it all the time, man, and they've been steady blowing people out. I mean, just stomping them, and he's played really well. He stopped turning the ball over. You know, it's going to be funny because we're hyper focused on the LSUs of the world right now. Great season. I understand it. I get it. It's one of the best stories of the year. In addition to the fact that Ohio State has probably been the most complete team we've seen in a long, long time. I mean, they just manhandle people. They're good at every position. They're deep. They're talented. They do everything well. But there's Clemson, and I hate to go on with the Dabo, whining thing, but he's not wrong to some extent, and they are dominant. It's just that this league is bad this year. But have you no doubt, just judging by I know the committee's not allowed to look at last year, but we saw last year. And many of those people, especially on offense, are all back. And we know what they did to teams and what they did to Bama and everybody else. It's very possible that they're just quietly going to go about their business of maybe winning another national freaking title.
I think I am yes, I agree with you there. That's the way it was trending the last couple of weeks because the defense will consistently be there. And if the offense cares, and Dabo gets them to care certainly by playoff time, then you're in trouble. You've got your hands full.
Yeah, you got a real problem on your hands. It's amazing.
As you're talking, though, I'm of the mindset, I'm running the numbers that I can't control, but still we all do as fans. We play the game. $1.5 to $2.5 million coordinators, right? Both of them, they have to be. If Norvell's the guy, you have to spend out of your wazoo for your coordinators in order to make this thing palatable to the fan base and give it a chance to succeed.
But you're going to let Mike make that decision. I mean, he may want to bring his guys. They've been a great success, obviously, and consistently improved every year he's been there. So it's like, I know people will be angst-ridden, and I get it. I know somebody tweeted at me yesterday about all the penalties that his teams commit. Most great teams do. All the dominant Florida State teams did. Dominant Miami teams used to lead the country in penalties. We've seen, Clemson one year had a ton of penalties, and Alabama. It's the kinds of penalties that we're talking about. The pre-snap stuff drives you nuts. That's disorganization. You can't get lined up right, too many men on the field, that kind of dumbassery that reeks of incompetence. If you're instead getting the kinds of penalties that speak to aggression and playing to the echo of the whistle and right up against the edge, fine, commit them. Commit them. Great athletes, great teams playing 100 miles per hour, they do that. They make those mistakes, and they overcome them. They win those games, and it doesn't turn out to be that big a deal. Now, I'm not saying I watch enough Memphis to know that. Truly, I watch them. I know them. I've bet on them. But
yeah, I think if Nielsen was doing a ratings test on Memphis football, they do top 5 markets around the country. Tallahassee will appear on this week's survey. I think it will.
Yeah. Well, and they're playing the same team they just beat a week ago in Cincinnati. Cincinnati didn't need the game. Memphis did. Memphis won the game by 10. Cincinnati gets their starting quarterback back. That's an interesting rematch. They didn't have him last week. So I don't know what you're going to learn, really, necessarily.
I don't know either. But you're still going to watch it more than you would have.
Well, partly
demeanor,
because
just the whole look and feel of things.
Yeah, partly too.
Do they swag surf?
One thing to note when I talk about what it takes to recruit in the South, I think everybody understands what I'm saying. You have got to find a guy who is willing to do what's necessary to win football games down here. And so one of the things you're vetting, sad, I don't care, but that's the reality, and I'm a pragmatist. I'm not worried about this idealized version of what college sports used to be in people's minds. It's not that anymore. So,
say for the Urban Meyer example.
Right. So what I would look at, I'm just talking about infrastructure, willingness, having people that help you out in that regard.
Yeah.
Plausible deniability. All of that.
Transactional relationships.
You got to know what Kirby Smart knows. That he learned from Nick. That Jimbo also learned from Nick. And that Dabo learned. And that everybody else that you see winning and recruiting exceptionally well learned.
Dabo doesn't cheat. He's a man of God. He speaks it every day.
So, if I can do some research and find out that Mike Norvell wants to win football games, Tom, cares deeply about winning football games in the South, then I know we got a guy that is at least willing to do the minimum. He may not work out, but he's got to be willing to do the minimum.
Yeah. As long as you got to have goalposts, though, man, because you can't be calling Tampa in the middle of the night looking for some company.
No, obviously that's my man. How did he do this year? He was laid up in bed half their games, wasn't he?
Know, it's like nobody talked about that. More people should have talked about that.
My favorite moments of the year, that camera shot. You freeze. Oh, the gift that keeps on giving.
As long as it's not him.
We're not hiring Hugh Freeze. Don't worry about that.
Well, just,
Or people like him.
Want people on the straight and narrow a little bit when it comes to rounding out their day-to-day life. That would be good. Hopefully we've checked on those things.
Day-to-day life. They don't have affinity for things that are...
We have checked on these things.
I mean,
I would assume.
I would assume. I don't know if we're hiring him, but I mean...
As long as we've checked on these things.
Yeah.
People can reform.
They make mistakes. Many moons ago, let's say. And then they get it together.
As long as we've checked on these things.
We've checked on the recent activities of these individuals. Sure. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Front Row Knowles up next. Stay tuned.